everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday show. My name is James Chen, and I am running on 2 hours of sleep right now. And I am joined by Mr. Ultra Redvid and Mr. Tubaware over here. You were looking.
I don't know what to tell you about my very fancy camera that I bought not long ago, and I still haven't taken the time to actually learn how lighting and white balance works and all that sort of stuff. So cut me some slack, James. As an assistant captain of Evo, I demand respect. What about you, Tubbo?
I think it's weird that you're wearing your Evo jersey from 1993. And that's pretty much all my Oh, and you look like you're in a dungeon. Those are my thoughts to start the show.
Dungeon?
Yeah, he's very... It's like... I imagine this is what someone would look like in the men's room of a club. Like, that's the lighting going on with David right now.
I'm sure I've looked a lot worse in the men's room at a club.
I mean, probably. I would imagine.
Hey, look.
Hey, I look a lot better now, though. Thanks for coloring me up better.
Yeah, I'm doing some color correction over here. Using my Explity powers.
Dang, did I say assistant captain and not alternate? Wow, I truly have gone out of hockey entirely, haven't I? Oh my god. You used to hear both alternate and assistant, but I think it's technically alternate. Anyway, I don't even remember now. It's so long ago for me. Let's talk about these things today. Evo has been sold. We'll talk all about that. We're going to talk about the CPT returning and what's going on with that. We have an interview with Mahreen, which I'm really looking forward to. That's super cool. We're going to be talking about her career in the FGC, playing, commentating, and so forth. We're going to be talking about this newbie situation with a tournament that was run by Infiltration. We'll also talk about when it's okay to say GGs or BGs or anything like that. 5-5 matchup. We're only going to do one because the show's pretty full. We got a little bit of other game news, including some new stuff maybe for the Riot Fighter. We have some community news to talk about. There's a few tournaments to recap and also to introduce for this coming weekend. And then we have a pretty full mailbag, actually, today. We got some beefy, meaty questions in there.
Casmer questions? Or...
We do have a Ryan Casmer.
Of course we do.
Yes.
Of course
we didn't do the mailbag last week, so that's probably why, but...
That is the big part of why, for sure.
And then we have another Casmer question, huh? Oh, jeez.
You guys are already grimacing. Good old Ryan Casmer. All right,
my prediction is going to have something to do with battle toads with one limb from each of the toads versus the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man merged with the Michelin Man. That's gonna be my guess at this point in time. So
you're not that far off, but also I like your question better. So you're gonna be disappointed when we get to Casper's question.
Okay. All right.
Well, yeah, let's start by talking about Evo.
Yeah.
Guess what? They sold it.
Surprising
news
here.
They did. No indication about how long this deal's been in the works. I mean, I don't know. But in any case, it was purchased by Sony Interactive Entertainment and RTS. RTS is owned by the sports marketing company Endeavor. They own other stuff like talent agencies, advertising agencies, Miss Universe, and also the UFC, including a bunch of other stuff. They did say that Tom and Tony Cannon are still going to be involved. Mm-hmm. Importantly, also, as I begin to turn yellow and green, it's the same crew running the actual tournament.
Yeah,
so Markman's still involved, Tenno's still doing production, all that sort of stuff has not changed. Markman also says that even though Sony now is a part owner of Evo, which might make you worry that it's going to be only PlayStation consoles, he says that it'll still be open to games on all platforms, despite Sony's ownership. Obviously, Evo was canceled last year due to the issues with Mr. Wizard, but he's no longer involved. So, we have this sale.
I mean,
what do you guys think?
Obviously, Markman is talking a lot about this, so he's definitely still involved, which is, hang on a second, which is cool. So, yeah, like you said, as long as the same people are involved running this event, hopefully it'll still maintain a lot of what it was before. Obviously, the Cannons are developing a fighting game that's probably going to be mostly on PC. So, if it was limited to not PC, they would even have issues with that. I think they already announced that Tekken was going to be played on the PC version or something like that, and so
we'll talk about Evo 2021 shortly.
Yeah, so it sounds like hopefully it's not going to be a huge change. Obviously, those are the big concerns. As soon as the news came out, is like what's going to happen with games that are not on the PlayStation. Can we even play Smash Brothers, etc., etc.? But it sounds like it's not theoretically changing so much. But before I get into more of it, I'll go ahead and let Brandon, what are your thoughts on this so far?
Well, I think it's funny that you mentioned Smash, James, because just framed right when Evo announced that they were sold to, or Sony announced, whoever made the announcement, Nintendo was right there to say, well, good luck, guys, basically, and a few more words than that. So I don't expect to see Nintendo games there ever again.
I got their statement. Statement from Nintendo was, this article has changed since This
article has changed.
Wow, that's weird. Okay, I had a whole article that I was about to cite, and then I went to the actual article, and guess what? It's completely redone. Bummer. Wow.
And keep in mind, Peter 0611, the last Evo that was offline, they did pay all their volunteers. They paid all the judges, and they paid they paid out a bunch of people there, so that was not happening. And they've been paying most people for a long time. It was really mostly the judges that were not getting any sort of money, but they did the last time. So, yeah. I want
to say thanks to Combo Breaker for that, because that was the first tournament to pay all their bracket volunteers.
Yeah.
I think that may have put pressure on others to do it, but that's a whole different discussion.
For sure. All right, here's the Nintendo statement.
Okay, you got it. Cool.
Nintendo has enjoyed engaging with fans at past Evo tournaments and wish the show organizers the best with their new venture. We will continue to assess Evo and other opportunities as we plan for future online and offline Super Smash Bros. Tournament activity, a spokesperson for Nintendo said.
Or deuces. That's all they had to say.
I don't know. To me, that is not so clear either way. That's real Hammond and Hahn type language in my view. That could mean that they're going to end up being okay with it. It totally could mean that they're not okay with it. I just feel like they're not saying anything.
Does it really matter? They were the ones that tried to kill Smash from Evo in the first place. They're not supporting Smash in any way in general. Yeah. So, does it really even make a difference what they say?
Yeah, it absolutely makes a difference. If Nintendo tells Evo they can't hold their game, that's 2,000 plus unique entrants at Evo.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of crossover between hardcore Smash players and other fighting games.
Yeah,
so they're getting a lot of unique entrants from Smash players. And those are going to go bye-bye if Nintendo says so.
Right, but my whole thing was just they probably would have tried to find some excuse to pull it from Evo anyway.
Maybe, yeah. Look, Brandon doesn't think that they're going to be there, and I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. No, right. Of course. I think that would be completely understandable, especially if it's online, and especially if obviously one of the Smash games is playable online, but badly, and the other one's not legally, as we already know, and Nintendo definitely has a problem with that.
Right.
So, of course I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo didn't allow it to happen. But as far as your overall feeling on this, Tubbo, what do you think?
I think it'll be fine at first. Man, I have a lot of friends that are on the Evo staff.
Yeah.
And they'll probably get mad at me for saying this, but whatever. It's I wouldn't say it to their face. I think it'll be fine at first, maybe the first year or two. But unless Evo still has the majority share in whatever the purchase was, it doesn't matter what Sony or Endeavor wants to tell the Evo staff right now. They can tell them, yeah, sure, we'll let you guys make all the decisions and we'll listen to your ideas. They can say all that now. But as soon as Sony decides they don't want to listen to them anymore, they don't have to if they own the majority of Evo. It's that simple. And from what I understand, from what the announcement sounded like Evo sold everything. It's theirs now. So that means Sony and Endeavor get final call. At the end of the day, no matter what they want to tell you, that's what that actually means. And that worries me a little bit. However, even if Sony made changes and it became a little more corporate, a little more esportsy, I don't think it would matter very much. I think that's where Evo is headed anyways. And there's other tournaments that fill, the grassroots feel that we don't need Evo to have that anymore. Evo is its own thing, so I don't think anybody should really be worried that much about Evo changing, because it will probably only change for the better.
Yeah, I mean, oh, David.
Oh, yep, I see. I just was doing some business over here. I had to change some stuff.
Okay.
So I think that's a reasonable take. I don't, and I think I wouldn't be too surprised on that front either. I definitely don't expect big changes off the bat this year, next year, whenever we go back in person. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. But I also look, Evo wasn't that grassroots event for years now. It hasn't been that for years. It's most of a decade at this point that it hasn't been that way. So, you know, the ownership were people from the FGC, but like the running of it has been a video game convention for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's just its own thing, and a lot of people really like it. That, I don't think that's going to change. Like, I don't know why that would change. I don't know why the Evo feel would change, because I feel like it's already kind of like basically what a company would want to do. And, you know, each of those properties that RTS, that Endeavor runs, including this thing now, those are all really different. Like, if you look at the list of what they have, it's not like they have like some brand that each of the things needs to be dealt with in the same way for. They're all really different. So whoever's running that show or that company is cool, I guess, with having really different takes for their different properties. So I'm honestly not that worried. I don't feel like it's a big change in how the operation's going to go. A lot of the same people are still involved. I don't feel like it's a big departure from where Evo was already. And if it means instead that like there's going to be more money behind this, great, because that means that we get to pay people more, or it means that we get to have better experiences, fancier experiences at Evo. And Evo is the fancy experience of the fighting game world, right? That's like it has been that way for years again. Yeah. So I'm cool with it. I think it's great, and I really would be super surprised if Tom and Tony sold Evo in a way that put at risk at all like the community and their view of what the community and Evo should be, because that's extremely important to them, and it always has been. And I don't think that has gone away at all. I mean, if anything, I feel like, you know, them canceling Evo last year is them recognizing like that they needed to be that the community had certain feelings, and that they needed, that was still super important. And who knows how much money they lost in doing so, right? Or potential to get money, who knows? So they're willing to do these things still. I would be really surprised if they gave up control, or at least if they gave up like a likelihood that these owners would have some negative impact on what they feel the FGC and Evo should be.
Yeah, I mean, also just from a Sony standpoint, you know, they've been running all these tournament open series stuff. I mean, they've been really trying to run a bunch of things already with the fighting game community. You know, they're being really involved with the FGC and running MK events and Soul Calibur events, etc., etc. So I feel like Sony just has a vested interest in this, and they're probably trying to build some sort of, you know, tournament series kind of brand for their company. Feels like that this is just kind of part of that, right? It's a good way to kind of kickstart their own ability to get in there, grabbing a brand like Evo. You know, my whole thing is, you know, I am hoping that the cannons stay, or at least, you know, like they train a lot of people or get a lot of people on the staff that are, you know, FGC, you know, they know the FGC side of things, you know, like if Markman is still involved with it for the long term, you know, that would give me confidence, because obviously he knows the FGC and he cares about the FGC a lot. So, you know, like Tubo said, though, you know, it could change in a few years. We'll see. But, you know, hopefully we can keep the FGC presence involved there as much as possible. And not only that, but the FGC is usually pretty good at, you know, if it does start straying from the path, the FGC is usually pretty good about being like, whatever, now let's go to this other event instead. You know, but
that's true. And I think it's a good point about Sony, well, PlayStation, like being active in other scenes already. I think that's true, and that's definitely good signs.
Yeah.
They've also sponsored Evo before. You know, it's not like this is their first.
A few times.
Yeah, right. It's not like this is their first time like getting involved in any way. So there does seem to be like a good faith effort there. I mean, they're a business, right? It's about making money, I'm sure, but that's not incompatible, especially for an event like Evo. So again, I'm cool with it. If it means that my friends get more money, if it means that we get to do cooler things, if it means that we get to have a fancier looking production at the event of the FGC that's supposed to look fancy, great. I think those are all fantastic things.
What are you talking about? You mean walking into Evo and seeing everyone playing on fold-out tables and with tablecloth on there isn't fancy?
That's fancier than many events, buddy.
But you know, one of the other things too is that, you know, I just think that this is also a smart decision from the Cannons, because obviously after what happened last year, you know, Evo has been so long associated with Mr. Wizard that the event name is going to be tarnished, right? And, you know, we talked about it a lot last year. It was like rebranding. They got to rebrand. They got to do all this stuff. And, you know, a full on like, hey, this other company now has bought it and is in charge is about as good of a way to rebrand it as possible, right? Because now it feels like a different entity trying to maintain something, and okay, we're changing leadership, and like you said, maybe this means that people are going to get paid more, and you know, and production will be different and such. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, like I said, the FGC, we've been burned enough by a lot of crazy, like, hey, we have money, we're going to do great things. And then, you know, all that doesn't pan out. We're very wary. So, you know, I don't think the FGC is just going to be blindly jumping in like, we welcome our new Sony overlords, you know. I think we'll be fine.
And as for the concern about playing multiple games, you know, not just Sony games, I think it's useful to look at the potential pressure that all the rights holders can put on Evo. You know, the rights holders in Japan, the last time they had that roundtable, they talked about running an event, a joint event.
That's right.
Between their various games. So that's something that they're thinking about, I guess. And if they feel that Evo is pushing one of them out, if they feel that Evo's not treating them well because Evo's PlayStation owned, maybe Evo doesn't want to run certain games, they can absolutely just make their own thing. They could just say, Evo, you don't get our games anymore, right? This is really big pressure that they could put on Evo to keep the sort of almost neutral party that they are with respect to rights holders, to keep that going. And I could see that being an important reason why Evo would, even if somebody in PlayStation were to say, hey, look, we got this fighting game event, let's just put PlayStation games on it. At the same time, they give up a lot of potential comedy with rights holders, and they give up a lot of potential players and attendees and viewers, and there would be pushback on that. So I think I'm not super concerned about that happening either. Cool. It's weird though. I mean, I don't know. Do you think it's weird?
No, what, you mean just that Sony purchasing them? I mean, I don't think it's that weird.
It not being owned by the Cannons anymore.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you don't think so?
I mean, the thing about it is, it makes me, as someone being there since the beginning, it's bittersweet for sure.
Yeah.
You know that, you know, but you probably kind of had the feeling that it was going to go this route eventually, right? I mean, like, the Cannons are busy working on their own games and stuff. I mean, that's why Wizard had so much influence, was because they needed somebody to do this. And, you know, without Wizard, they don't have anyone really running anything anymore. So probably, like I said, seemed like the right path to take. And, yeah, I mean, there is a lot of bittersweetness, I guess, in there. But at some point, like I said, I just felt like it was probably going to happen. So,
thanks to the sub hero who says that I hope they continue to run Evo Online alongside Evo, regular Evo, after the return to offline is more feasible. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Is there anything else to say about the purchase itself? Any other commentary on that?
I got nothing, kid.
Okay, well, let's talk about Evo Online then, because that was announced along with this. It's going to take place in August 2021. They have announced the following games: Street Fighter 5, Tekken 7, Mortal Kombat 11, and Guilty Gear Strive. And they have announced that, like we were just talking about, for certain platforms already. Strive, PS4, PS5, MK11, PS4, PS5, Street Fighter 5, PS4, PS5, PC, and Tekken 7, PC. So they are already allowing, it's already in there, it's on evo.gg, you can see that. They've also said this is going to be online, of course, again. It's going to be in Asia, Europe, Latin America, and North America. There's going to be a couple of weeks, regional qualifiers, regional semifinals, then regional top 8s. So more information about that, I'm sure, will end up coming. They also say that more games will be announced. So these are not the only ones that they're going to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they get some games that have good netcode in there too, some KI.
Yeah.
I mean, look, honestly, like these are pretty good. Like it's not, this does not have Granblue. It does not have Samsho. It doesn't. Maybe KOF will end up being good. Well, it won't be out by this time.
Yeah, it won't be out.
So it, the only one in this that doesn't have great netcode is Street Fighter 5. But honestly, as much as we rip on it, is better than a lot. It actually is better than quite a few out there. So Strive is great, obviously. MK11's good. Tekken 7's good. So I think that is a factor, actually, the online play that they've chosen.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously.
Like I'm really hoping that like Them's Fighting Herds gets in there again, because it had that opportunity. It had that opportunity last year, and it didn't pan out, obviously, because it was canceled. They ran their own event, but still, it would be really cool to give that game a little bit more, publicity.
I think that would be great.
That's what I was saying when I was hoping that more games with a good netcode would get in. Games like that, KI. I think it'd be really funny if now that ownership has changed, if they like snuck MVCI in there somehow. If that game has good netcode, I think it'd be really funny for that to happen. But I just hope that they get a bunch of cool games in there that don't get a lot of spotlight when things are offline rather than online.
Yeah, I mean,
it'd be nice. Yeah, Skull Girls too. Yeah.
One of the cool things was they also mentioned that this is kind of one of those good news, bad news things. But South Africa is one of the regions included in the Evo Online. However,
that's in Capcom Pro Tour.
Oh, is it the Capcom Pro Tour? Oh, you're right. You're right. I got them mixed up.
Cool as well.
Okay.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But no, there's no African participation in Evo, which is something I definitely wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I don't know why that keeps happening. There's a lot of people on that continent. I mean, it's not just North Africa, which has, like, we know that there's good players there. We've seen some of them. South Africa, we've seen a little bit of. There was a Tekken event there. But, like, some of the biggest cities in the world are in Africa. I don't know what the resources that they need to allocate to it would be. I don't know if that would be something that they couldn't justify or whatever, but I really think that there should be a more active look at that. I mean, this doesn't mention Australia either. It was Asia, Europe, LATAM, and North America. I don't know. Especially now with this extra Sony bucks, I would really like to see that involved.
Yeah. It's just, and that's one of the hardest things, is that their scene just doesn't have as much publicity, and people don't talk about it enough. And they obviously have a big enough scene, and they're running events all the time. But even then, a lot of the events that are being run, that are being, even like when they tag us on Twitter and stuff like that, they're like, hey, look, it's this country's first event, first big major and stuff like that. It's an unfortunate situation, but, the way the world works is that you always have to keep proving yourself for like years before that people even consider, kind of thing. And it's a rough situation for the continent of Africa to try to get more play into these tours and such. So, but also it just these groups can definitely just be like, you know what, we're going to give you the chance. And that definitely needs to happen more a little bit as well, just to give them the chance to prove themselves, because it's important to get that global representation.
For sure.
Well, that's going to be in August. Again, I mean, I don't mean to just dwell on the negative, because the rest of this is really good. I'm glad to hear that Evo is going to be back. I know that there was conversation as to whether it would be back. I feel like it wasn't that long ago that we were talking about whether Evo would happen again, or like what was even the future of Evo. We had no idea. So it's good to hear that it will be happening again. Not a surprise that it's going online, even as we get more vaccines in this country. Other countries are behind that, and there's like maybe actually another surge happening even as vaccines do roll out. So it would be really tough to plan an offline event for August.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we start planning offline events for the fall, maybe early winter of 2021, something like that. But I totally get them wanting to stay online. I think that's the right call for this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then
no question.
There's also the weird kind of side thing that happened in that Shoryuken.com kind of disappeared after this happened as well. Shoryuken.com, I guess, you know, they just have a front page now that just basically says that they're trying to figure out what's going on with the site. But a lot of the things, remember there was the one point in time where people were talking about, you know, Shoryuken.com potentially going away. And so people were worried and they were trying to back up the forums. But then someone said, hey, here's this offer and you can run your forums on this. And it kind of stuck around and everything. The wiki got transferred somewhere else. So the wiki is still accessible, but the forums and everything are gone now. And so a lot of those old threads of good information are kind of gone now. I don't know if they've been archived anywhere or anything. So
I think that it's there, but on read only.
Yeah, the forum is there on read only.
Oh, okay. So people.
The forum is still there for now, at least.
Okay.
But the actual front page of Shoryuken, it doesn't exist. It just tells you that, well, we don't exist right now. We'll keep you updated, and that's about it.
But I know there was a couple of articles that people were sad that are missing right now, like the, you know, really nice interview about Samurai Showdown 5 special, you know, things like that, that are definitely missing now. So I'm not sure if those are going to be available to be archived at any point in time. So
I know the canons have also put a lot of time and resources into maintaining SRK's ability to stay alive. So like with the Evo stuff generally, I think I would trust them to care about that, even as the scene has basically moved away from it. You know, we're not really on Shoryuken or any forum at this point. Most people are not anyway. There's still a little bit of traffic there, I'm sure, but it can't be much.
Right.
It would be great if just somebody archived that entire site just for posterity's sake. As much like probably really gnarly content is on there. Things that, you know, a lot of people's posts from back in the day are probably not too great, but even still, I think that stuff would be important to try to save and look back on from the future at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you guys, I mean, to go back to Evo in general being sold, I know there's some concern out there that this is in some sense like the end of the grassroots scene. This is the beginning of more of like an industry rather than a community for the FGC. Is that something that you guys are worried about?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Are you worried that this is more now becoming less of a grassroots scene and more of an industry than community?
No. No. Not at all. Not at all. Because
not even a tiny bit.
I mean, you mentioned it already, you know, Tubo, was that, you know, it felt like Evo was kind of going in this direction already, you know, that it's already been kind of like this. So that's not going to change. Like, just because this happens with Evo and is sold to Sony, you know, Rick is still going to be running Combo Breaker how he wants to run it. Jabali's still going to try to probably have as much wrestling tie-in as possible. L.I. Joe's still probably going to do as much with Roadrunner Records, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody's still going to have their own take on the events. And, you know, I don't see, for example, Elven Shadow changing Frosty Faustings anytime soon to be from a 2-day crazy stuff as many games as possible into this event. You know, I think, like I said, the FGC is pretty good about trucking along as it goes. You know, there could be potential for a lot of cool growth, a lot of more eyes on there, because can you imagine just Sony, you know, when you log into the PlayStation 5 having advertisements for Evo just like sitting on the front page of the PlayStation 5 menu or something like that? So, I mean, there's good things about it for sure. But like I said, we just all are going to do our FGC thing and just be like, let's take a step back and look at this and see how this goes. And if it doesn't go well, then we can revolt. Otherwise, yeah, this is not too bad. Let's go with it, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm not concerned either. Oh, go for it.
I was going to say, yeah, like I said earlier, if things, or like James said too, if things aren't great at Evo, then we'll just go to Combo Breaker. Mm-hmm. Like, we'll go to see, like, we'll migrate. It doesn't matter. It'll be fine.
Right. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. Big E's still going to be running stuff. You know, the organizers we have on the West Coast are still going to run stuff. Still going to be locals all over the place. And this one event, as we've all mentioned, has been heading in more of a fancier corporate convention-y, maybe is the best word for it, direction in a while. The tournament itself is still, I mean, it's run well. Like, that's good. But like the feel of it is more of a convention than like an old school FGC tournament. That's totally fine. I mean, it makes sense. That's the role of.
And again, you know, I mean, for people who don't like that, I mean, when it wasn't convention, like I remember talking to the cannons and such, and you know, a lot of people came there expecting to buy lots of cool trinkets and to buy artwork and to do all sorts of cool things, and they couldn't. Because we were running a tournament, and we realized that it had to be moved more towards a convention, because that actually served the audience more than what it was. So,
all right.
Well, I'm back from the Matrix, everybody.
Yeah.
How was it?
Not very interesting. I met the lady with the red dress, but we just hung out for a little bit.
Okay. Plus, she was actually an agent anyway, so you know.
How dare you? Okay. All right, I guess that's it for this topic.
That's it for this topic.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the Capcom Pro Tour, which is returning. Guess what? It's back, everybody. Did you expect that?
Africa.
Yeah, partly it is.
Not surprised. I mean, obviously expecting it to come back, but you know what is interesting is that you know they are not going to try to make a lot of the same mistakes that they made in the previous one, which was, let's just plan for this and, you know, COVID should be fine by this month. You know, they've just announced that the whole thing is going to be online throughout the whole entire year. I'm sure they're keeping things open for offline events if that happens, but they are definitely planning for an all-online event.
I think that's how they'll run it. As far as how Capcom Cup goes, maybe that's a different question, but that's going to be in 2022. It's going to be a while. It's early 2022. They have the schedule up already, and it starts soon. It starts in mid-April on the 17th, and it runs all the way through January. Like, there are events that are already planned in January. Mm-hmm. So it's 32 different events. It's 19 different territories. So we got North America, East, Midwest, and West. So, like, it's not even just East and West, right? Yeah, no, it's great.
We're finally recognized.
Exactly, yeah. And that's Canada as well. It's not just U.S. Then Central America East, Central America West, South America West, and Brazil, which is South America East. Europe West. Also, UK, Ireland. Also, France, Spain, Portugal. Also, Europe North. Europe East/Russia as well. Then they have Japan, China, Asia East, and Asia Southeast. Middle East is its own thing. Australia is its own thing. And then the Republic of South Africa, to round it out, is its own thing.
All right.
So that's 32. I think it's great that there's, NA Midwest is in there. Central Am East and West is great. South America East and West is great. Like, these are big areas that deserve to have their own spaces for sure. Middle East is its own place rather than being shoehorned into Europe. That's great. It's
Logan,
great to have...
Logan can no longer claim Big Bird and Angry
exactly,
Bird.
Yeah. Exactly. South Africa being in there is cool. At least one country from Africa is involved. Like, it would be great if it was more than that, but it's a non-zero amount, and that's an improvement.
It's a start.
It is a start. Here's my question. What even is Europe West, if not France, Spain, Portugal, UK, and Ireland? Like, what are we talking about? Is this going to be Belgium versus the Netherlands? Like, is Andorra going to be involved? Like, what's Europe West? Is it Germany?
Italy, Greece, Germany.
Listen here, I'm an American.
Like, is Poland Europe West? I don't know.
What were you saying, Brandon?
I said I'm an American. I've never looked at a map in my life, so I have no idea where you guys are. France. What is that place?
It's gonna be Luxembourg versus Monaco.
You made up one of those two.
Did I? Are you sure about that? I've been to one of them.
I've never looked at a map.
Good work. Good work. So that seems like it's a little bit too differentiated to me. I don't know that you need like all of those. It would have been nice if instead of Europe West having kind of being spread up in all these different territories, what if you had like Africa North?
Yeah.
Or Africa West, or I mean, you could do more.
This is
at least there is more differentiation than before.
Yeah. So this is where the good news, bad news things comes in. Is that they do have an Africa region for Capcom Pro Tour, which is really cool. But they only included South Africa, which is just basically the southern tip of Africa. And there's the rest of this gigantic continent that is not being represented. And that is definitely unfortunate. And again, it's one of those situations where I feel like they need to, really give these regions, give them a chance. Like, okay, let's do an Africa West, let's do an Africa East kind of thing, because it really is a shame that whole area is being underrepresented, and there are a lot of fighting game players in that region. So,
dude, Europe is so tiny. Can I just tell you how tiny that continent is? It's so small. Sometimes I look at the map and I'm like, I can't believe there's all these countries there. It's so small.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. Europe looks gigantic on the map, right? Because of how north it is from the equator. I will
not have a Mercator projection in my home, James. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, Europe, it's always crazy to me because when you talk to people who live in Europe, I mean, you lived in Europe for a short period of time. I've even had this conversation with you, David, where you're just like, yeah, I just took the train from France to Spain and I just hung out in Spain for a day and then I came back. And it's like basically me driving to go visit my parents,
It's like a little bit more than that. But like, yeah, going to a different country is like us. It's not even us in California driving to another state. That takes 15 hours.
Right.
It's like the East Coast driving to another state. Anyway, whatever. I don't mean to make fun of it too badly. I just wish that there was more of a separation in Africa, more of not just, I'm trying to look up what Middle East represents. It would be weird if it included countries all the way to like Pakistan. That's not usually what people mean when they say Middle East, and that's a really big area, if it did. So it's also a bummer that like the Pakistani scene wouldn't get represented, if that's true. Again, I just tried to look it up, but didn't find the information there. Look, they could be doing more, but I am glad that they are separating it out more than they had in the past.
Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, come on. According to the maps, Iceland is just as big as Greenland is just as big as South America, right?
Good old Greenland. Highly populated. Tubbo's turning into Greenland over there. Look at what's happening out there.
I look like a leopard.
You do. Your nose is about to come off. So there's a prize pool of more than $200,000. The top 4 of each online event splits a prize pool of $5,000 as well. So that's great. It's free to enter. So you're not spending cash, and some people are going to be winning cash, which is great. And like I said, Capcom Cup will be held in early 2022. Hopefully at that point we can have offline events and things will be okay. It honestly seems like a reasonable guess that it will be that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if things trend as they are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to be too certain about that, especially like what we've gone through in the past year. I don't think any of us is going to like speak with certainty about how COVID's going to end up.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
But it seems plausible, at least.
If things trend as they are.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but like I said, I think it's safer right now because, like I said, they already probably got burned pretty badly from having to cancel that Dominican Republic event, you know, and so they're probably gonna err on the side of caution now and not try to book anything as an offline event until we are sure that we can do that. But even still, though, let's say it is in time next year, February, where like most of the world is vaccinated and the rates have dropped significantly. Would we even feel safe to go to a Capcom Cup at that point? You know, would people actually travel to a Capcom Cup?
Dude, I'm going to be super real with you. Like, I'm not in a huge rush to get my vaccination because as soon as I get mine, I'm going to be doing what I'm doing now anyways. Yeah. But come like October, November, if numbers are down, I'm the first event I'm going to. Like, if Frosty Faustings can happen, there's no way I'm not there.
Okay.
Like, I am thirsty for events. Like, and if I'm vaccinated and everybody in the country has had a fair chance to get vaccinated that wants one, time to start doing some stuff like we used to, and man, do I miss tournaments. So yeah. I'll be there. I can't speak for everyone, but I'll be there. And I've been very stingent about like quarantining and stuff.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, you know, just in case people aren't even aware of this, which you should be aware of this, just because you get vaccinated doesn't mean it's all good. You can still catch it. You just won't die from it. You'll be fine. But you can still spread it to everyone else. There have been articles about someone's grandma who caught it from their mom who was vaccinated, and so she definitely tested positive. She was fine because she was vaccinated, but the grandma got it. Like, there's just tons of stories like that. So just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you should run around and not wear masks and stuff, because again, the masks...
I'll be right back into what I'm doing.
Yeah, masks are designed to protect other people, so even if you're vaccinated, please still be careful. Please still be careful.
Well, many of us will be soonish in the U.S.
For sure.
I mean, there's already, I read that 85 million people have had it. That's like 1 in 4 adults or something already. That's a lot. And it will be within a couple months that like most of us will probably have it. So that's not going to say, yeah, I'm still going to be taking all the same precautions for sure. However, yes, I will travel. I definitely will travel.
Okay.
Yeah. I would go to a Capcom Cup. I would go to a, probably not summertime, but like in the fall, yeah, I'm there. In the wintertime, especially a winter of 2022, I'm definitely there. Definitely at that point.
Yeah.
Again, if things continue on the same path, maybe like super COVID gets mutated out there somewhere, and it's, you know, all of our viruses, our vaccinations don't work, whatever. Like,
who knows? The universe, man.
Oh, I'm not the person who's brought this up.
I didn't say specifics. I just said if things continue to trend this way. You're the one spitting out possibilities, all right, into the universe.
If things continue to trend this way, yes, I will definitely be there.
Man.
Why don't you put that evil on us, Ultra David?
Okay. Well, anything else to say about Capcom Cup?
I guess not. Yeah, I thought we would have more to say, but I think that's about all there is here.
Let's bring on our friend Mahreen.
All right, so do you want to take a quick break, and then we will...
Quick break. I need water.
Get this all connected and stuff, and then we'll be back with Mahreen on UltraChen TV. Be right back, guys.
Love you, bye.
What the hell?
Hey, thanks, King Wiley, for the sub. High five.
My name is Milkshake Ruler. I don't even know the words.
Damn, I was kind of like rocking back and forth. That was pretty heat, people.
Shake Zula, buddy.
Bars.
The old schooler. The Mike Ruler. Am I the only one who's ever seen this show?
Listen, man, I've seen many hours of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, #1 in the hood. Oh my god. Named why?
I don't know.
James, I thought you were pooping.
So what we're gonna do, Mahreen, is we're gonna bring you on. I'd like to just talk about your backstory a little bit. Like, how'd you get into FGC? and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure we'll have like follow-up questions as you are talking. We'll want to talk about like your perspective as woman in the FGC, your playing, your commentating, your Sonic fan art.
Yeah, we're definitely talking about Sonic fan.
That's only like a secret in the best friends Discord. So.
Mahreen, one day I hope to have enough money to buy one of your Sonic art originals.
No. I'll draw it for you for free. Easy.
Oh, you gotta paint it on canvas for me.
Oh.
I'll hang it on the wall.
I got you.
Damn, James really just put elevator music over us.
I like it. It's good music.
He didn't want the people to hear us.
Teehee.
Mahreen, when's Birria?
Birria? Dude, I'm so ready to cook it. I want you guys to come over and try my cooking.
Listen, as soon as
I would love to someday.
are vaccinated, I'm coming over.
Yeah, I'm down to cook it for you.
I'm coming over and gonna get inebriated and we're gonna eat some birria.
Okay.
You know, Tubbo's a big SF5 fan now, so you guys can play games too.
Yeah, Tuvo. Oh yeah, Tuvo. I was talking to Evan last week, and he said that he wanted to play more offline, considering that the netcode is kind of poopy.
Yeah.
So we should definitely get together someday when things get better, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he asked me to come
fan.
over and paint, but I told him I can't because of my medical issue.
No, that's understandable. Mm-hmm.
Tubbo is not in California. Only James and me on this call.
Oh shit! I am in California right now. I am in Burbank. I think is where James is. I don't know. I'm around there.
Negative.
I am in Jamestown, USA.
Jamestown, St. James's Place. That's where you're at right now. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're coming back to the main screen first, and then we'll move to the interview screen. So let's do this.
Oh wait, I got it done.
Too late for that, bucko.
What's up, everybody?
All right, back to the break. No, just kidding.
Welcome back to the show. So we're gonna bring on our guest, Mahreen, as it says over here on the side.
Welcome back to our super professional show, our super professional and extremely clean show here. All right.
We call them dumps. Massive dumps.
Welcome to Dump Tuesday.
Dude, there's the name. There's the new name of our show right there. Dump Tuesday.
Dump Tuesday.
I think that's
nailed it, in my opinion.
There you go.
All right, what's going on? Thank you very much again for hanging out with us. I see you're in the frigid north, which is accurate. It's accurate as far as I'm concerned. Tubbo was saying it's in the 40s out there.
Yeah, let's say it's actually like heavy 40s and raining.
Freezing.
Beautiful.
The 40s is literally freezing, scientifically speaking.
No, that's not true at all. That's the 32
So
degree.
let's talk with Mahreen. So before we talk with you about your, current stuff that you're doing with Royal Rivals, commentary, playing, all that sort of stuff, I'd like to talk with you about how you got started in the FGC, what your backstory is, what your history is. Tell us how you got involved.
So I actually got involved first at cosplaying. I wanted to cosplay like Sakura, I want to cosplay like Chun-Li and all the fighting game character women that you can think of, and it was an awesome experience for me because I remember Rick from Combo Breaker, he hosted a tournament called Hyper Fighting, and I attended that, and it was super fun. I cosplayed as Sakura there, and I got to compete in the tournament for my very first time, and obviously I went 0-2 because fighting games were just something so new to me, because I would just always play League of Legends or Overwatch and other stuff. But it was definitely a whole new experience that I never thought it'd be, and I'm really glad that I'm in the FGC, and that started from there, really.
Well, but before that, you must have been into fighting games to some degree to want to cosplay the characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It was just really cool because I wanted to know more about the characters. I wanted to know what they did in fighting games and beyond that. And also, I guess, like, I wanted to prove people wrong, actually, because there's this one guy that was in our FGC. You know, he was saying stuff like, "Oh, you're just doing it for attention. You're a girl, blah blah blah." And you know, at the time, like where my mental illness is, like it was just really bad, where I didn't know how to cope with it. It really shot me down. Like I felt like the most pathetic person ever. You know, when he just said that, and then I just really thought to myself when I hit rock bottom, I'm like, what can I do? You know, like how can I prove that person wrong? And so for months and months and months, you know, I've been going O2 at my local tournaments and whatnot, and it really did make me feel a little bit depressed about myself. Because like I really want to get better, like I really want to do it, and I just kept playing and playing and playing until I finally went 1-2, and that was like, you know, the most happiest it was the most happiest day of my life, really. And you know, I just kept playing from there, going 1-2, and then 2-2, and then eventually getting one game away from top 8 at my local. So, you know, like I said, it's just an awesome experience, and I'm really glad to be in the FGC, because I guess like I don't want to say like it's just because of that one person that made me want to get better. I wanted to get better for myself.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
so real quick before we like go off tangent. What felt better, getting your first tournament win ever, or when you beat like Dogura at Lidia? Like, what feels better? Because that's a big leap. That's a big leap from
I was gonna
0-2.
Yeah, because I was gonna
one of the
ask
best players in the world.
I was gonna ask about that too, because you know the growth factor from going from that point to being able to beat Dogura. You know, like how, like obviously which one felt better, but you know, what kind of advice would you give to people to get to that point? You know.
Oh shoot, like that's a really good question, because at first I never really thought I would beat Dogura. Like right when I got to the streaming stage, I was like, yo, I'm gonna get cooked. I just feel it. I know it. You know, like he's one of the prominent and well-known FGC players in Dragon Ball and Street Fighter V and all other games that he plays. Like he's an awesome player. But playing him on stream and then like beating him, I felt like a surge of all these different kinds of emotions going through my head, but I could literally hear my second person voice or whatever saying like, "You really did it! Holy crap, you freaking did it!" And I'm like, "I know," you know, just kind of talking to myself. But oh my goodness, yeah, it's great. But then again, you know, I feel like winning my first loco. Like I did win my first loco. It was like the last loco before we went to quarantine. I felt like all the hard work and effort that I put into fighting games, where I would keep going 0-2, 1-2, 2-2, etc., really made me feel, you know, like it. I can't find the words. It just makes me feel really content in a way. Like it made me really happy that I'm able to portray like what I learned into like locals or even regionals and whatnot. Seriously, like it makes me so happy, and I'm, like I said, like I know I sound like a broken record, but it makes me so happy to be in the FGC.
How long do you think it took from when you began playing and going 0-2 to get to that point of winning the local, beating Dogura, etc.?
I'll probably say like maybe more than 2 years, because there are times where I really like to just autopilot when I play, and sometimes it's good, but mostly it's bad, because you know you really want to be able to play for yourself, not because like, oh, I can do this with X character and then connect with this and that. But I honestly would say about like 2 years. Probably, actually. No, actually, yeah, 2 years.
2 years.
One way to phrase that is more than 2 years in a way that it's negative, and the other way to phrase it is only 2 years.
Yeah,
like, that's actually amazing.
Yeah, seriously. That's
2
what I
years.
was thinking.
A lot of people out there playing these fighting games probably won't get to a point where they could beat Dogura in 2 years. You know what I mean? Kind of situation.
No, I haven't. I've been playing fighting games in the FGC for almost 20 years. I'm not going to beat Dogura.
Hey, look,
Dude, 2 years is really fast.
I beat Fenrich. Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
You did.
No, but I know there was also the stint where you did the combo queens, and you know, you were one of the players brought on by Persia. Talk to me about the combo queens and how much that helped as well.
You know, shout outs to Carolyn Dow for organizing Combo Queens. It's such a great organization for women who do want to get into fighting games, but sometimes like it's kind of hard considering that the FGC is very male dominant.
Okay.
And it's like I don't know how I should put it, because like having Combo Queens, of course, like hosting offline tournaments, or like, you know, during let's say Combo Breaker or Evo, CEO and whatnot, and just hosting like a little get together just to hang out, you know, chill after like a whole long day of, you know, just mashing buttons and cheering your friends and whatnot. And I really, really like Combo Queens. It's such a great organization, and I really do hope that they bring it back better than ever for the next events offline. As for Persia, of course, shout to Persia.
I apologize about that. I got the mix. It was Combo Queens with Carolyn, and then of course the XO Academy with Persia is what I want to talk about as well. So,
oh, definitely, sure, yeah. Like shout outs to Persia. Honestly, like she's been a great human being, and you know, has been very supportive, and definitely wants to see me shine and get out of my comfort circle and try to do something bigger and beyond. And having the EXO Academy program has been super helpful towards women who do want to up their game, who do want to up their commentary skills and the likes. And she's just bringing on like so many awesome and supportive people, like Amanda Stevens, who is a content creator, and I believe she also does like interviews as well. Awesome stuff. And then Kate McGee, who helps with physical therapy, especially if you're like mashing buttons or like sitting there for a long amount of time. You know, you got to get up and stretch, right? And Vampy as well, who also helped me with my cosplay game, really, because there are times where I just want to put like my cosplay to the side and just practice, but I want to go back to my roots, you know, cosplaying, making all these props and whatnot, and it was really awesome to have her there. So really, like I said, great program, great people, and I really, really hope that I can see more of EXO Academy, of course, next year, once offline events come through.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of that, because it feels like you're kind of transitioning into that role as well, you know, because a lot of it is about having the right support group and everything. And of course, there was the Queens of Combat, but that obviously had issues. But you have rebranded the whole entire thing into the Royal Rivals, right? And you're a major part of that now. And, you know, you can tell people about, you know, what Royal Rivals is, and then also what your role is, and, you know, what your goals are with that organization.
Yeah, so of course, shout outs to Yuki, Flexes, Joe from the online local, Nep and Aurora and Soul for just, you know, organizing Royal Rivals and just bringing it back up from Queens of Quarantine. So I am the main commentator of the organization. You know, if they need me, I'm there, you know, like if they need someone to commentate. But of course we want to give other women in the FGC a chance to commentate, just kind of show their skills and whatnot, because it'll help them grow. And of course, like, it's a women and non-binary tournament where, you know, I just want people to be comfortable, and like no shame in like competing and going 0-2 or 1-2. I just want to have people to have a great time and be themselves, really. But yeah, awesome organization. We have like sponsors such as like Grindr Coffee, and I know that Flex's team Equinox also helps sponsors the tournaments, and of course the online local helping to stream the tournaments and dealing as well.
So what do you think about that move into commentary? Do you like doing that? Is that something that you want to continue focusing on in the future?
It's actually really fun. You know, like, I actually have fun commentating because it kind of tests my knowledge in Street Fighter V. Because, like, I can play the game, but do I know, like, more in depth of, like, of this character, or why did this character do this, etc., etc. And yeah, like I said, you know, it's been really fun. And considering that it is kind of difficult, considering that, like, I am how should I put it, like, English is not my first language.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
I would have never guessed.
Yeah, it's not my first language, so it's really hard for me to process words through my head and try to sound elegant or like smoothly, like, you know, trying to connect my words and just kind of speaking in a smooth manner, really.
Right.
So it is hard at times, but I try to just like relax and just try to talk to the audience more than like commentating like, oh no, Seth did an EXDP, I love the commitment, blah blah blah, you know. Like I try to switch it up for myself and for the audience so they know that what's going on and how hype this match I'm commentating.
Every commentator has like a different voice, a different, not just literally, but like in the way that they want to focus on different things. They have they bring their own experiences into it. Like, how do you feel it's been for you in that, like in bringing your experiences into commentary?
It wouldn't be fair if I like know a lot about just like the Laura and Poison matchup because I play those two characters.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
But it's really awesome to see, you know, like other matches that I don't really watch as much. You know, like I always watch like Laura matchups, Poison matchups, but not more of like Seth, Akuma, Rashid, etc., etc. And it's really cool to see that, oh, like I'm gaining all this knowledge where like, oh, Rashid's this button is +2 and he can connect to this and that. And it really had, like, how should I put it? Like, I feel like a sponge just absorbing all that knowledge and be like, okay, I know what to say the next time when I see a Rashid and Akuma go against each other. So, you know, like I said, it is hard, but at the same time, it's very rewarding because, you know, when am I ever going to see this matchup happen again? Like Akuma and Laura, Rashid and Seth, etc.
So, but I mean, although you're doing all this commentary right now, you're not stopping competing, right? You're still going to be concentrating a lot on the competitive side.
Yeah, definitely. I will still be competing. I don't really do online tournaments as much considering the netcode, but I love watching online tournaments. Don't get me wrong there. Like I really, really miss competing, and I just miss being at offline events and just, you know, having a grand time with everyone, like especially you guys, playing games, hanging out, eating, and yeah, just like just all the good things, really. So you will see me compete once offline events come through, and be an awesome time.
Mahreen, when our locals come back, are you ready for this Honda?
Yeah, I want to play your Honda. Let's play anytime. I'm so down.
Well, you know, yeah.
No,
Once we're vaccinated, I'll come over.
Okay.
Because, gosh, what was that viral video that was just going around of the basketball player when, you know, they asked him, you know, like, what are you going to miss the most about playing there? And, like, he starts crying and everything, and he just finally looks up after, like, a minute, and he's like, going out to eat, you know? And so, you know, when when you said, you know, going out and hanging out and everything like that, I mean, you were obviously there, part of the fart milk table combo breaker.
That's a peace fart milk table.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh.
But never forgotten.
I seriously miss those days. But they'll definitely come back soon, and it'll be awesome.
Yeah, we'll get a new table.
What if we just like all sat on the floor, or like the coffee table in the like the lobby in the hotel?
Well, we're not going to
real.
That
Yeah, that's true. It's not going to be the same
that
location,
gone.
but also
Yeah,
the real table is in our hearts anyway. We could be sitting on the ground and it would be fine.
Wait, didn't someone say that it went for like sale, or like if someone could buy that table?
Somebody did
you could
buy that table.
Oh my god!
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when the venue was shutting down, they were selling all of their stuff.
But
everything that they could.
Did somebody we know actually buy the table or no?
Not somebody we know.
Oh my goodness.
It was sold.
Man.
For everybody who's watching this, and not the four of us, we're talking specifically about a table that we used to sit around after Combo Breaker. Combo Breaker ends, right? It's Sunday night. Everybody's super tired. We would hang around this particular table each year and just be real stupid and silly. You know, just like classic hangout stuff at the end of an event. It was really great, rather than going out to Denny's or whatever. I think one year somebody brought homemade spaghetti, if I recall correctly.
What the hell?
Yummy!
Yeah, that was big Marcus.
I think it was big Marcus. Yeah.
I was not there.
No.
Oh, wait, no.
You weren't there for that one?
No. I remember he brought homemade spaghetti, but I don't remember sitting at the table eating that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
we were at the table.
We definitely
we
were.
had it down to like the end, and people took a plate and got some.
Yeah. In any case, just to say, like, this was one of our like hangout locations, and it's something that all of us miss, just like everybody going to events misses. The thing that they did with friends.
Well, I'm with you, Maureen, on this one. I'm kind of mad that I missed the homemade spaghetti, man. I mean, come on.
Gosh, that sounds so good.
Oh man,
well, should have been there. Sucks to suck.
Man, okay.
But by the way, I've always wondered this because obviously in fighting games you're always trying to like bait jumps or bait DPs and stuff like that. Every time I see your Twitter handle, is it by telephone or is it bait telephone?
Oh my god, everyone says bait telephone, but it's by telephone. So the origin of my handle is actually my middle name. So my middle name is by phone, and I was like, cool, I'll just add tele to it and be by telephone. Haha, cool, woohoo. So,
it's cool with me.
So is that Chinese or what is it?
It's actually Lao. So I'm Thai and Lao.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I already told Tubo and David, but like I took a 23andMe test, and I like got so many different kinds of Southeast Asian DNAs where like I'm 26% Vietnamese or I'm like 2% Chinese and all that stuff, and it's just really cool because I'm like I never knew I'd be 2% Chinese, and that's like out of this world, because it was mostly like, oh, you're like Cambodian, you're Thai, and you're Lao, and I'm like, well, I kind of knew that, but I didn't know more of the Cambodian stuff. But it's just really cool.
If I took one of those tests, it would just come back white.
100% white.
White.
Oh man,
the whitest you can be. That's who you are.
So in this COVID time, if you're not competing in online events, when you're not commentating, are you playing? Are you practicing still?
I'm just like eating and sleeping. That's it.
Okay, that sounds pretty good though.
Yeah, living the dream.
Yeah.
But like, again, like I'm always down to play games though. Like if someone, just tweets at me like, hey, do you want to play a game? Like blah, blah, blah. I'm in the Midwest. I've been wanting to get some Laura or Poison experience. I'm like, yeah, sure, dude. Let's play a game. I'm always down for games, and it'll help me like kind of get back into the game. Because like I said, I haven't been really playing Street Fighter V lately because of the netcode. But if it's like just lobbies, super down. Always down.
Because you were streaming a lot at one point in time, right? Is that something that you do less often now?
Less often, yeah. Because I have a job, and I just get really exhausted from my job. And I really do want to like stream, but it's just kind of the motivation, and I just feel super lethargic where I just want to chill at my computer desk, watch anime, and eat, and then hang out with friends and whatnot.
It's funny because I've often compared streaming to like driving. You can just be sitting there and like concentrating on a game or whatever, but then afterwards you're just exhausted. It's tiring for some reason. So
sure,
totally
right.
understand. Oh.
Cool.
All right.
Well,
Are you planning to try to get into? Well, no, I was just about to ask though. I mean, outside of Street Fighter V, do you play any of the other fighting games? Are you planning to try to learn like Strive or anything like that? Try to find another game that you might be able to beat Dogura in,
No, I would get washed by Dogura in any other game. But I'm actually interested in the Riot Fighter game that's supposedly coming out. Is it coming out this year or next year?
Nobody knows.
They have not announced.
Oh shoot. Okay, all right, scratch that then. I'm actually excited to play that just because like I play a lot of League of Legends with my friends. But it'd be really nice to actually like kind of like so like I have the chat muted, right? So like I would always like try to stay sane and whatnot, but there are some people that would flame you nonstop in the game, and then I'll be like, okay, see me in the Riot Fighter. That you won't do it, huh?
Nice.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, I mean, obviously this is a topic that, we've talked about a lot here, but obviously being a girl in the FGC And, you've talked about how much you've enjoyed, your time here in the FGC and stuff like that. But has it been hard for you? Has there been a lot of pushback that you've had to deal with? Or has it actually been mostly pretty positive?
I would say mostly positive. Like, of course, there are some instances where I would just deal with, like, weirdos on, like Twitch or, like, on Twitter or on Instagram.
I've seen some of those screenshots.
Yeah.
I've
seen man.
A few of them.
Oh, yeah. They're actually really funny. Like, I know that I should just ignore it, but it's just too funny to, like, even delete it and share it with, like, Tubo and friends and all that stuff. But, I would say, yeah, like, mostly positive, because I was able to make really great friends, especially, like, you guys in the FGC and other people in, like, Combo Queens or, like, people at Combo Breaker that I got to meet through Twitter. And, yeah, it's just been mostly positive, because we're just all there because we have mutual hobbies, mash buttons and the likes. But, yeah, I guess, I don't know, I feel like I don't get those really weird messages anymore, because I guess they know that I expose them, or that I literally just like I just, like, pull up on site and be like, hey, do you want to get married, man and woman? And then they just don't say anything.
But before COVID times, when there were offline events to go to, what were your experiences like going to offline events?
It was super fun. I really love just the atmosphere where I just hear buttons mashing and people are like, "Oh my gosh, happy birthday!" I just love the atmosphere, and I really wanted to keep going because of that, and of course getting better at fighting games. So I don't know. I guess I wouldn't say that it's like the same atmosphere as of, like, going to a convention. But I don't know, it's just, like, all video games, because at conventions, like, you walk around, you go to, like, the shopping hall, you go to the artist alley, and then you take pictures and your cosplays and whatnot. But at tournaments, all you hear is just smashing buttons, and I really, really like that. I just feel like it's like a therapeutic sound. I don't know.
It's white noise.
I'm sure we all agree.
Yeah, absolutely. I can fall asleep so well to people pushing buttons. It's crazy.
I can't wait to walk into a venue and hear that
music to my ears.
Walking down the hallway in a hotel where everybody in there is playing games, in each of the rooms, everybody's playing in their little local suites. That sound of just, like, faint button tappings, I've definitely had dreams about.
That's gonna make me cry. I dream about that all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
So here's a little a last 2-part question from me here. You talked about how much Persia, Carolyn have meant to you and everything like that. Do you consider yourself now, in the position that you've gotten in, do you consider yourself a role model for other women trying to get into fighting game community? And, as I'm just kind of pushing it in this direction a little bit, as I do think you are a role model, what would you recommend? Like, what would your advice to women who want to get into the fighting game community be?
Again, James, thank you so much for saying that. Like, I just get super flustered when people say, like, "Oh my gosh, like, you're literally a role model for women in FGC," and I'm like, no, no, like, seriously, thank you, because I really do want women to join the FGC and play fighting games that they really like. And I know that it seems daunting at first, because, like I said, that it's a very male-dominant community, but I feel like mostly everyone are just really chill. Like, I don't care if you're a man, a woman, a dog, or whatever
if you're
the hell
dog
you want to
playing
be.
fighting games, please.
Dude, that'd be tight as hell.
I would care about that. That would be
I would.
Actually, though, yeah. But I just really want people to come through in the FGC and just mash buttons together, hang out, make friends, and hopefully grab some grub together, drinks, whatever. I just want people to be comfortable. I want people to be happy, and I want people to know that, yeah, like, there are good people in the FGC, and I don't want people to, like, of course, like, seeing, like, forums, like, oh, like, this guy, he did something bad in the FGC. I don't want them to use that certain nobody to make the FGC look bad. You know what I mean? I want them to know that, yeah, there's a whole lot of great people in here, and just come through. You know, like we're all friendly people, and if you want to learn a game, we'll show you the ropes, really.
And it sounds like a good idea to try to, get connected with the combo queens and everybody, because like you said, after the tournaments are over, you have good group to gather with, and really kind of creates a nice little support team.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
So plug the stuff that you're doing right now. Where can we see you? What events are you helping out with, etc.?
So, guys, of course, my name is Mahreen. I'm sponsored by UIU as a content creator and a Street Fighter V professional player. Right now, I am commentating at oh my gosh, it's so hard to say, Royal Rivals. Like, imagine saying that super fast. I seriously can't. But yeah, you guys can catch me on Twitter at by telephone, including on Instagram. But on my Twitch, it's Submarine SUB and an MAHREEN. Other than that, yeah, I guess I don't really have anything else to put out there.
All right, cool. Well, thanks a lot for coming on. I know that you're concerned about like your ability to speak quickly and smoothly, and that you're like concerned about your vocabulary, but honestly, like I've never had the sense from talking with you or listening to you that that's a problem for you. You're super good at that stuff.
Oh, thank you. It's just
I'm really happy that you're commentating.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it just feels like when I talk, I just kind of like throw words out my mouth, like in my head. I'm like, okay,
That's
do this,
literally
do this,
what
do this.
talking is. So yeah.
Well, yeah, but it just feels so like, how should I, like, very fast. I don't know.
It is, and the more that you do it, like the better accustomed that you'll feel to that. That's not going to put you off as much. But already, like you're talking fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right.
See you soon.
Thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye bye.
Had to be here.
All right, cool. Well, again, thanks a lot to her for coming and hanging out and having a little chat.
Yeah, and again, obviously it's very important. It's something that, at least David and I have been talking about for almost 10 years here on the show, and I know Tubo feels the same way, but trying to make the FGC more open and accessible for everyone, in particular women. And it's like I said, it's really great to see players like Mahreen, and not only just being a strong player here, but also branching out to the commentary, to the organization, and like I said, being a role model for other women coming into the fighting game community. So again, really glad that she came on here and had a lot of very positive things to say about the FGC.
Yeah, I mean, however her experience has been, right? Whether that came out as positive or negative, I'm just happy that she shared it.
Yeah,
cool.
For sure. Okay.
All right, so let's move on.
All right. Kind of an interesting situation here. So describe to me what's going on here, David.
Okay, well, there's a post on Reddit/rfighters basically alleging bad behavior by Infiltration in a tournament in Korea. So this is called the Sprout Tournament. It's basically like their version of the Shoryuken scrimmage.
Right.
It was a beginners tournament that was limited to players who were ultra bronze in Street Fighter V. It was a $500 prize sponsorship that was sponsored by Africa TV, which is it's kind of like Twitch in Korea. Right. They do a whole bunch of other stuff, StarCraft, etc. They got a lot of things going on. And Infiltration was to run the event. So the players who got to grand finals were definitely not ultra bronze, right? In fact, one of them was silver, but they are players who have experience in other fighting games. In fact, one of them is a master in another fighting game in Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. A lot of experience in multiple games, and one of them was taking rounds off an Ultimate Grandmaster, for example. Like, there's definitely a lot of skill in there. It turns out that Infiltration knew them. They're in his Discord. He recommended that they enter and keep their rank to a certain level. But obviously, you couldn't surpass this spot. But also, don't be rookie, because then people would ask questions if like it's a rookie rather than if it's a bronze or whatever. Which that wouldn't be believable. He had previously observed their lounge matches, given them personal feedback, so he knew that they were but they were good. He's the one who made the brackets, and of 8 people from his Discord who entered, 7 of them made top 8. And he was in control of the brackets there. Apparently, some of the players who entered, who actually were beginners, were mocked by the people who were smurfing. And they're not planning to enter more tournaments now, which is like the exact opposite of what the purpose of this event is supposed to be. So people are upset about how this event was run. And in response to people being upset, apparently Infiltration said that people commentating on his behavior aren't like a real part of the FGC, and that he's the most impactful person in the FGC in Korea, and that he's done more than anyone for the scene. Again, I don't speak or understand Korean in any way, so this is all taken from a post on our fighters that we can link to if anybody's interested in it. I don't have personal knowledge of this, but this is, it doesn't seem like anybody's been saying that any of it's wrong.
Right.
So
is there somebody honking in the background right now?
Yeah, that's outside my apartment. I can't do anything about it.
Oh, okay.
Bummer.
I turned my filter on, but if it's still picking up, sorry.
Okay, no worries.
So that's the rundown. What do you guys think about this rundown?
Well, last week we had just talked about Marco Polo being banned from the Samurai Showdown community for rigging brackets and doing things like this. This is obviously this is obviously not good behavior, right? And, there was prize money involved in this tournament. The prize money was not, from Infiltration. The prize money was from Africa TV. First of all, I'm just going to put this out there, regardless of Infiltration or whatever, don't offer prize money for beginner tournaments.
Right.
Just don't. There's a reason why when we did the Shoryuken scrimmage, we never offered prize money. Our prize was, you get to play us, we tried to make it as not cool as possible, because the point is not to because as soon as you do that, you invite the smurfing potential, right? Just don't offer prize money. And if you want to have an event where you do offer prize money, don't make it a beginner tournament, because then you're just inviting smurfing. That's the first thing that I'm going to put out there, because if you do that, you avoid all the trouble just from the get-go.
Yeah, that's the underlying problem, for sure.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think that's true, but I also think that the way that he's alleged to have behaved here is also really bad.
Yeah.
It kind of colluding with players to help them win. I don't know that he got any of the money, right? That's not what I mean by colluding. I just mean trying to help people in his Discord get into this in a way that will help them out. Especially he's the one who did the bracket. He could set things up.
It was his tournament.
He
was the one. He was running it. Yeah.
One of the things that I read is it sounded like he gave advice to the player to like you said, just get to Ultra Bronze and stop. And when you look at that person's account, they literally just win streaked all the way there, and had 90 or even in casual matches they had 90% win rates or 80% win rates and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean the players that did that were very obviously not beginner fighting game players.
Yeah.
But if you look at the rules, they didn't break the rules. So, technically they're not wrong, but it's definitely immoral what Infiltration did and what they participated in doing. I mean, just because you don't break the rules doesn't mean you're not a jerk. So that's it is what it is. I don't know if look, man, Infiltration's been through deeper shit than this, and he wasn't banned from anything. So I think people that are yelling for a ban are going to be really disappointed. Is kind of how I feel. I think he shouldn't have done it. I don't know what people expected. The dude's been in trouble before. It just it's disappointing, but I don't think anything comes of it. I think it just Infiltration yells at people online, and that's kind of the end of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's basically my take on this as well. It's not a case of as far as I can tell, right, just based on the post, it doesn't seem like there were rules broken. So it's not
right.
Yeah, is that? I'm not sure that it's ban worthy, right? That doesn't really strike me. That said, it sucks, right?
Yeah,
so I think my position is definitely like Tubbo's here. It sucks. It's crappy, especially the response of like, I'm super important. Like, how dare you try to, be upset at me? I think that sucks. That all sucks. He has definitely done worse stuff, and I think should have been banned, as we have often talked, not for a while, thankfully, but we did talk about back when it was happening,
Right.
that, I think that he should have been banned. There was not really a ban between him and Capcom. He decided to step away, and they were okay with that. I don't think that this rises to that level, right? That seems like it's worse to me, but it definitely is kind of. It doesn't seem like unrelated behavior. Let me phrase it that way. It doesn't seem like it's disconnected.
And it's just one of those things, it's like if he does get banned for this, it's obviously kind of like inertia, I think, from the previous stuff, because like you said, this is definitely not worse than what he's been convicted of before in the past. And if he does get banned here, like I said, it's more inertia from that and kind of like a history kind of thing, because obviously, with the previous situation and his ex-wife, there's a lot of people out there painting as much doubt as possible, and having more situations of bad behavior kind of maybe solidifies that, I guess. I don't know, but again, I don't want to really I'm not here to play any sort of judge myself. It's just the situation from what I've read just does not look good.
It definitely doesn't look good. Yeah, I mean, again, to be very clear, he was accused and convicted of domestic violence. And there are very gnarly transcripts that are real. And then when people in the Korean FGC talked about that stuff, he sued them and didn't win. So that's really bad behavior already. I don't think that this particularly rises to the level of ban. And I agree with Tubbo that if that stuff didn't, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what would. But that's really bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it sucks.
All right. I don't know what else to say about that.
I don't think any of us disagree. It sucks, and I don't think much will happen, but it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well,
alrighty.
Let's move on to the 5-5 matchup over here. And this is a weird topic that came up, I think, from one tweet that showed up here. But so this every week we do the 5-5 matchup where we talk about weird things like this and kind of sort of debate on things. We pick one topic for ourselves, and so someone tweeted out at one point in time, normalize saying GGs after every match. Like, that's what we should do here in the fighting game community. Normalize saying GGs after every match. And a lot of people started talking about this on that day. What do you guys think on this topic?
We've had a lot of subjects we've talked about since I joined the show in October, and I don't think I could care less about any subject more than this one right here. It is the dumbest argument I've ever heard. Look, man, nobody's obligated to tell you good games after you play your set. It's polite of them. It's polite. It's fine. It's good to do. I just fist bump and I move along, and if we're friends, if we're good pals, the last time I think I played a good friend in tournament probably would have been Coach Steve in Combo Breaker 2018 or something, a Marvel Infinite, and he won and I gave him a hug and it was good. That's good. That's my boy. Good games, whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just fist bump and keep it moving, man. There's people trying to run a tournament here. We don't need to shake up. We don't need to we don't need all that. Just keep it moving, man. I'm trying to go home. That's just, especially during weeklies. Dude, I see you every week. This is just business at this point.
Business.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's nice to be polite, and I usually just boom, GGs. That's it. It doesn't need to be any more than that. I don't think it's a requirement either.
Yeah, I don't think it's a requirement. I think that's correct. I mean, literally it isn't. But I also kind of don't get the phrasing of normalized because it feels like it's normalized. Like that is
I think so too.
That's the norm, is that you say GGs. Some areas, instead of saying GGs, they'll just like give a handshake or dap or whatever. Like different regions have their different scenes as well, have their different like kind of conventions for this. But yeah, it is definitely normalized. I think it's much rarer for the opposite to happen. I don't know that I've ever been in a situation where I've said GGs to somebody and they haven't replied GGs, even if they clearly are upset about it.
Like, I made Darkside Phil rage quit in the middle of our Marvel 3 match. And I put my fist out, and fist bumping me, ignored me the whole time. I just sat there like this while he gathered up his stick and walked away. That is a real story.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess I believe it. I'll have you know that when I played Darkside Phil in tournament, we did both say GGs to each other.
Okay.
Well, you must have not bodied him like I did.
After I bodied him with Old Honda against his DJ, an actual 8-2 matchup.
Ooh, rough. Rough.
Anyway, I mean, he was always a very nice guy with me. Whatever. As far as the idea of GGs, I think basically what this comes down to me is that it's not when I blow somebody up, I say GGs because I don't want them to feel bad and I want them to know that like I still enjoyed this time even though it, you know, I wasn't like I didn't have to try super hard or whatever. Like they're level below me. Like I'm trying not to be a jerk, right? I want to be not a dick. So I say GGs. If it's close, I say GGs because it was close. It was fun. Those are good games. Like it was close against each other. If I lose big time, I say GGs because I am appreciative for this player who's clearly better than me to like hang out, play, let me learn a little bit. Like from every end of the spectrum, I end up saying GGs. And sometimes when I'm saying it, I kind of like feel I'm like not happy, right? Especially if I'm the one who ends up losing. But I still do that because like I want to signify like I appreciate this time. We had a good time together. Like you putting yourself out there to play with me is cool. Like it takes a little bit of like gumption to play with anybody, whether they're good, they're better than you or you're better than them or whatever. So I always say it. If the other person doesn't say it first, that's fine. Like I'm not put out if the other person doesn't say it first, you know, or if it seems like they're not going to say it, but then I say it, and then
like
they reply
everything that you're saying right now, David, we can just take out GGs for the first one to say I love you. Like that's what it sounds like you're describing right now.
Actually,
I just say it. When I feel the love, I just say it. If they don't want to say it back, that's fine. I can reciprocate. I feel like that's what you're... Anyway, sorry.
Actually, I didn't say I love you in response to my wife the first time that she said it.
Wow! Wow, you said no.
You just admitted that right now on stream?
She said GGs and you said no, BG.
And by the way, speaking of admitting things, do we have any resolution on the Avatar fan fiction, by the way?
Oh, I think it was me.
It was you.
Oh, it's yours?
I'm not sure, but
dude, do a password reset and see.
I need to read it out loud then. Okay, next week we're gonna have to read this out loud. But
I was looking at one of the titles, and the title was like half jogged a memory that existed at one point in time, but the other ones don't. So I don't know what's up with the rest of them.
Okay,
but, maybe at least one of them.
I will read them out loud on stream next week.
Whether it's I love you or GGs, yes, I do say it, and I think it's nice. Like I don't feel put on the spot. It doesn't feel like it's some stupid tradition that I have to say. Like I feel like it's good. Like I want to say it. But if somebody doesn't want to say it, I'm also like not really put out by that. Like that's not a big deal for me. So I don't feel like it's particularly important. Like either way, I don't know. What do you got? What do you think, James?
I couldn't give a crap, to be honest with you. I mean, we're playing, when we play like in the SoCal distancing thing and we all play, every time I lose a match, I never say GGs or I never type GGs in the chat and everyone's always typing GGs in the chat. Honestly, I mean, look, I get it. People want to look. Fighting game salt is a real thing, man. Okay. Fighting game salt is a real thing. And you know what GG's was back in the arcade days? GG's is when you lost, you'd be like, God damn it, I know I blocked that stupid overhead piece, and you walk off to the side, throw a token up, you walk off to the side, fold your arms, and then you calm down as you wait for your turn to get back up. Like, that's all it was, right? I mean, at this point in time, it's already part of the culture to shake hands with people after a tournament match, right? Don't force people to sit there and go, good game. It's like, people are mad. They don't want to say something. Like, it's easier to not look at someone and shake their hand and walk away than to have to say good games or whatever like that. Just let it be, man. If someone is salty after a tournament loss or after a game, let them be salty. Let them be. That's the part of it, right? Like, as long as they're not hurting you or hurting anyone else, don't force somebody into something that they don't want to do. I've had this happen before. So a friend of mine beat me in a tournament. It's on video. They wanted to give me a hug afterwards, and I was like, get the fuck away from me. You know, like, you don't, like, when you're salty, you're salty. Let people be salty. This is one of the hardest things right now. As long as they're not harming anybody else, let them have their emotion. We are too much trying to force people away from this shit. I even told people on my SoCal Distancing, on my Sam Show, streams, I'm like, if you want lose and you want to jump in the chat and be like, what the hell am I supposed to do? This is like totally cheap, like we used to in the arcades. Please, by all means, do that. I encourage that kind of thing, because honestly, that's just part and parcel of the nature of a competitive event. Go ahead and be salty. Like, after a tournament is done, you shake hands like a hockey match or whatever like that. Don't be like the Pistons and leave the court and make Michael Jordan mad or whatever like that. Go ahead and shake the hands and stuff like that. But, like, that's a non-verbal, I can just do this and go kind of thing. I think that's good enough, to be honest with you. I really don't. And yeah, I don't even think you have to shake hands. If the guy doesn't want to shake your hand and gets up and leave, I think that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah. Escalating for James. Like, yeah, I know you're not KG. You should shake hands. You should shake hands, but you don't have to look at them. Fuck shaking hands. Punch him in the mouth and walk off the stage. Because I'm mad
like
about
I said, my whole belief is as long as you don't disrespect somebody else, I will respect you. If you're salty and you don't want to shake my hand or say GG after I beat you, I don't feel like you're disrespecting me. I understand what it's like to be mad. I will still respect your decision to be upset and want to walk away as quickly as possible, because I don't feel like that's disrespect to me, because I understand it as much. If you actually say, I can't believe I lost you, you fucking scrub, then yeah, you're disrespecting me, and then I'll laugh at you, right? Like, that's the kind of situation. But being salty and wanting to leave the situation because you're frustrated is something I totally get. And you're not disrespecting me. I will respect your decision to do that. That's how I live my life. As long as you don't disrespect somebody else, I will respect you. And I do not see being salty and trying to move away from that situation as a form of disrespect, because I understand it so much.
Yeah, I think that's fine. In fact, now that I think about it, yeah, in tournaments specifically, I think sometimes I say GG for sure, but also I think more commonly, I just like handshake or dap or elbow bump or whatever. I think it is more commonly that. And there's definitely the rule of, like, after your friend loses, you don't talk to them for a while. Right? Like, if they want to come over and talk to you, cool. But if, like, it's not on you to be like, hey, good, well played. That's not gonna help. Like, let them stew.
You did your best, buddy.
Yeah, let them stew for a little bit.
People have talked about that all the time. The top players have said that a lot, from the Smash community, from the fighting game proper community. Like, whenever someone loses, like, don't go up and ask for pictures, don't ask for autographs and stuff like that. People are salty, and that's just the thing. And I know, I get it, sportsmanship, we want sportsmanship, etc., etc., but like, let's respect the salt at the same time, right? Because as a person with basically an inability to control my emotions, I totally get it. And I think it's important that we actually normalize not like making fun of people for getting upset at losing fighting games, because a lot of times when I get mad on my stream, it's actually helpful to a lot of people, because they're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I can see someone else get mad because I feel this way all the time. And it actually encourages me. Like, you know, the fact that we try so hard to make fun of or, you know, or to put down people who get upset at losing, you know, like I said, as long as they're not harming anyone else and as long as they realize it's on them to improve and stuff like that, let them get angry, dude. I think that's it's absolutely a healthy thing, honestly.
The last time that I did not say GG's in a casual set, I was thinking about this, was CEO maybe a couple of years ago. I hadn't played Street Fighter 4 since SF5 came out, like even in casuals. And I sat down and I played casuals with Dan against a couple of people, and there was a Balrog and I beat it. We went back and forth, but I beat him, and then there was a Geef and I beat him, and then this guy sat down and did Ibuki Kunai mix-ups on me, and I could not get off of that machine fast enough. I hated it. And I did not say GG's. I just the players on this side, I literally did this. Like, did not give him the look. Nothing. I would have yelled.
I would have yelled off. Get wrecked, scrub. Get wrecked, scrub. See you later, scrub. Get wrecked.
But that's the only time that I can think of.
Yeah.
At least offhand.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, this is not that big of a deal. All right, you ready to move on?
Yeah.
I've been ready to move on.
I know you have. I can tell. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the viewer side of 5-5 matchups here.
All right. Now, did we want to do one or two? Because it feels like we have a little more time than we thought we were going to have.
We have a big mailbag.
Oh,
we do have a big mailbag.
Okay. So we'll just do the one then. Then here we go.
Here we go! Viewer question number the first. In light of recent events in the Korean FGC, what can TOs who want to run beginner or low rank only events do to prevent smurfing and other shady practices? You want to just say, like, don't have money involved?
Yeah, excise that question because we already talked about that. Just don't have money involved. That's just really
okay. Very good.
Comes
very
down
good.
To. I mean, it's unfortunate because that got the most votes, but we already answered it.
So, then they got the twofer.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Number two, do you expect or want to see a mid-season big rebalance patch for SF5, or should the season play out as is? Number three, what do you think the most overlooked or underappreciated fighting game is? Number four, have you encountered anxiety playing matches online that you've otherwise never felt playing offline? If so, what do you believe caused it? Number five, do you think that fighting game devs could get away with wasting a slot on a joke character as easily as they used to back in the day? The winner is...
By the way, before you even get to... Oh, never mind. You got to the winner. I just want to say I do appreciate the fact that people are resubmitting questions. Please do not be discouraged to do that. If you really want it answered, just keep putting it in there, dude.
Yeah, it'll win eventually.
Yeah, seems right. Number three, what do you think is the most overlooked or underappreciated fighting game?
Interesting. Okay. What do you guys think?
What do you got?
Dude, it's really hard to say right now because so many quote-unquote underappreciated games in the offline era are now appreciated because you can play so many of them online.
That's true.
So it's hard to really say. I can't think of a game that's like what I feel is actually probably a good game that's underrated. Maybe like Chaos Code or something. Like, I don't know. Most games get played, it seems, nowadays. Or at least had like a period where they were getting played. So
I would say, in my opinion, that it is Pokken. I think Pokken is the most
I like that one.
overlooked or underappreciated fighting game. I think that game is super good. It has a scene. It definitely has a dedicated scene. And it's got like a kind of pro championship situation with the Pokemon World Championships. but it's also way smaller than most other game scenes. It's really good. I really like the game. I played a ton of it for quite a while when it first came out. The only reason I don't is the same reason I don't play most games. I don't have enough time to play more than 2 or 3 games actively at once, and for me, that's SF5 and MK, and KI is the third. I just, that's the time limit for me. But I do think that it's a very good game. I'm always happy to watch it, and I wish that more people had taken a look at it. I think you kind of look at it, and it can seem like it's slow, even though you're making decisions quickly in reality, but like it kind of looks slow. And it is Pokemon, so if you're somebody who doesn't like that art style or thinks that Pokemon's stupid or whatever, then you didn't check it out, and I think you missed a really good game.
Also, if you just don't own a Nintendo console.
That's
right?
true. Yeah, if you don't have a Nintendo.
Right.
That's true.
So yeah, I had the original version on Wii U for a bit.
Mine
I don't
is-
have a Switch.
Same.
Mine
Also,
is-
it does have really good netcode, I want to say. Yeah, in fact, when I was playing that game a lot, not only did it have great netcode, but the scene was populated enough that each time you went on ranked and you tried to play online, it would actually count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, and you would always get a match before it ran out of time. Always.
Right.
I don't think I ever didn't. So good netcode. There was a big scene. I think it's not like that anymore, but it like I said, I think it's a really good game.
Yeah, I'm sad because I never played it. Mine's still in the shrink wrap. Like, I have it. It's literally still in the shrink wrap.
Wow.
I've just
You have
never...
every opportunity. Just put it in the cart.
Yeah, I know, right? I should just stick it in there.
There for you.
For me, this is a tough question because, underrated and underappreciated, there's a lot of different levels of that, right? Like,
Yeah,
I could literally say Guilty Gear, because I feel like Guilty Gear should be on the level of Street Fighter, of Tekken, of everything like that. Like, God, Guilty Gear has been such a fantastic series. A part of me is really hoping Strive just explodes like crazy because I just feel like the franchise deserves it, because Guilty Gear has just been like the best fighting game series consistently throughout its lifespan. I really love that series. Then I can also say Under Night in Birth, right? Which obviously it's gotten to a point where it's gotten the recognition, but I still think it should be bigger than it is. I could say Samurai Showdown because like the netcode should be better and more people should be playing it. When I run my streams on Thursday on twitch.tv/jchenzor for Sam Show sort of online, when I actually run those events, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I forgot how much I love this game. I forgot how much I enjoyed this game, and they're so happy to play it, so it can go in all these different levels. And it's weird. KOF probably, you can talk about KOF15 that way as well. There's a lot of different levels, but I'm sure people are more interested in like the more unknown or the kind of like, people.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. Is like,
Yeah.
the chaos that they're poking, stuff that
And-
isn't as known. But like most stuff you'd find in a tournament is played by people now. Like they found a way to play online, and that's what they've been doing.
Yeah, and so if I had to pick like let's just say a game that's really small that not a lot of people play, that people probably don't recognize as much, I might have to just say MVCI. Because it was a good game, dude. And it's crazy to have to talk about it as that small of a game, but it kind of is. So
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, every fighting game is underappreciated and
Yeah,
underwatched.
True,
Like
true.
I don't understand why we are struggling to get the viewership that like League of Legends has. When, in my eyes, it's so much easier to understand what's going on casually for someone who's tuning in than watching League of Legends. So, yeah, I don't know.
yeah, it's
Hey.
crazy.
So it is and has been,
Oh well,
and probably will be.
we're doing our best. We're doing our best.
Yeah, you're right.
Damn it.
All right, that's it. Anything else to say about this?
No.
Nope, I go again. Okay.
Okay. Then let's move on.
We're moving it.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's talk about game news. We're going to talk about Tekken 7 first. Season 4 is out now. Lidia, the Polish Prime Minister is a video game character, and you can play her in the video game called Tekken 7. She's out. There's also a new stage, which is a reference to an old stage called Island Paradise. There's detailed patch notes. And while I am no Tekken expert, my understanding is that Steve and Fakumram got nerfed.
Steve got one thing nerfed, and I think a lot of the Steve players are freaking out about it. Like, it was like one of his moves doesn't track anymore as well, and now people are really upset about that. But it might just be, from judging from listening to other Tekken players, it might be the Steve players' overreaction.
Anyway, there you go. She's Lidia is a I wish I had more to say about it, but I just don't know enough. She looks cool. She's like a Shotokan karate type character, and she looks cool. I don't know. What do you think about her?
I think she looks awesome. I think she's so cool. For me, I've always talked about how my favorite fighting game characters, especially in games like Tekken and Street Fighter, obviously for things like Guilty Gear, this is not a requirement. But when it's like, oh, this martial arts tournament, I like seeing fighters who practice actual martial arts. And the way they've designed her, she's very faithful to the martial arts. Her animations are amazing. And, I do also like the fact that, they, made a strong female character who's, attractive looking, but not like overly like Laura'd up and Mika'd up. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's a really nice character design, and I really appreciate that. So
I think her model and design are boring as shit, but I really like her animations, and I like that she does traditional karate. I think in like 3D fighters, I always like think the characters that do karate are the coolest looking, because it's so powerful and like just, and yeah, I don't know. I think karate's cool as shit. But as far as Capcom ruined blonde-haired people in fighting games for me, because there's 45 characters in Street Fighter V, and 40 of them are blonde-haired, blue-eyed people. So it doesn't matter if it's Tekken or Mortal Kombat or anything like that. I just, I'm tired of seeing blonde-haired people in fighting games now. Other than that, though, she looks really dope. So, cool animations.
She does have cool animations. Yeah, I think she looks fine. I don't know. I kind of agree that her outfit is sort of whatever, but that's fine. I thought when they said that the Polish Prime Minister was going to be there, I thought we'd get this grizzled old 55-year-old woman who's still a killer, but she's 29 apparently. I looked up the story. I don't know. Okay.
Well,
yeah, I'm not super inspired, but that's fine.
The nice thing about Tekken is if you think that their outfit is boring, you can give them a rubber ducky with a little clownfish floating by their head, and just do whatever the heck you wanted. So there you go.
That's true. Yeah, I wonder why they went with the Polish Prime Minister.
They probably just wanted a Polish character.
Oh well, they clearly did want a Polish girl, but I don't know. Why have her be the leader of a real country? Most games are just IPs in general that have some prime minister involved. It's they make up a country for it.
Sokovia.
Yeah, right. All right. Anyway, whatever. Let's talk about the next thing.
All right.
In KOF15, Terry Bogard is in it. They had a whole trailer for him. He's also the last member of Team Fatal Fury with Andy and Joe. What do you think about how he looks?
No surprise, I guess. We were all kind of expecting Terry to show up. He did show up, and team is intact as normal. But I think he looks really cool in the game. I think he looks really, really nice. His level 3 animation's really cool. He kind of took the Winter Soldier animation from MVCI, where he sparks his fist on the ground and then he punches you. But I thought he looked really cool. He seems very Terry Bogard-like, and his costume design is a little bit more of the old school Terry style. So he doesn't have sleeves anymore. He's got the bare arms again, so you can kind of see that he definitely looks a lot beefier as well. But I think he looks really cool.
I think he's the best looking character they've shown so far.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good.
I wouldn't go against that because I mean honestly, you could see the improvement with each trailer. Like I feel like it's not a coincidence.
The trailer's better. Yeah, the actual trailer itself, there actually was gameplay footage, like not extended lengths, but there were like 5-ish seconds of actually like here's how the characters might actually fight against each other, which was good.
Mm-hmm. And that was cool too because it was the first time we actually got to see like the roles in action. Someone even, you know, unscientifically went frame by frame to try to calculate how long the rolls were frames wise compared to other games and things. So it was actually really cool. I was surprised. Like we watched the trailer every week, and by the time the trailer was over, I went to click pause and I noticed there was still a minute left on the trailer, and I was like, wait, what the heck? And it was actually really cool to see. So there you go.
All right. Street Fighter V has new DLC. There's Hippie G. There's Belly Dancer Seth. There's some new colors for everybody. And there's also a new CPT stage called the Ring of Galaxy. So
yeah.
Check that out.
Is it just that stage that makes the characters look different? Like the lighting? I've seen people putting up videos and the characters look super weird on that stage.
They do. I totally agree with you that the lighting on that stage is real funky. Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have the stage. I guess I'll get it, but I haven't gotten it yet. Another bit of game news is, maybe most interestingly, Project L news.
Yeah.
This is, of course, the fighting game that Riot's creating. It's just called Project L. And James has just been updating on the fly.
Updating it.
Yeah. So here's what happened. Several sources have said that they've received or reported receiving an email regarding a survey having to do with in-person playtest sessions for Project, well, it doesn't explicitly say Project L, but then there's also the news that this survey is very fighting game focused, asking you things like, which fighting games do you play? What do you like about fighting games, et cetera, et cetera. So it's clearly the fighting game that they're working on, which is Project L. There are reports that this is not just going out to like fighting game pros or experts necessarily, but just more to like random folks in the LA area who play Riot games. Come down and experience it and, you know, tell them what you have to say. So that just started coming out. The news of it just started coming out today. I haven't gotten such an email, even though I live in the greater Los Angeles area, and I've also played Riot games. James, have you had one?
Had one what? Sorry, I was responding to someone in the chat.
Professional stream here, guys.
Have you received an email from Sir Riot?
Oh, you mean for Project L?
What? In general, yes.
No.
Well. Looks like you haven't gotten it either. So anyway, I haven't talked with anybody who's actually gotten this, but this was the news. So I guess that means they're getting to a point where they are having people play it, which is encouraging. That's it, though. I don't have any other specific news about this.
Yeah.
This is conjecture land.
I just want to point out to everybody who was quote tweeting that leak, because that's essentially what it was. Like we don't even know. Yeah, we don't even know if it's actually real. But everybody was quote tweeting that link or that leak. Sorry, telling Riot that they want a chance. That's not how this works, guys.
No.
You can't find a leak of something that's not supposed to be out there yet. Quote tweet it at Riot and ask them to have you. They're never gonna select you that way. But man, I probably saw like 50 of those on my Twitter feed. And every single one, I thought in my brain, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. Nope, that's not how this works. So like, just don't do that, guys.
I mean, I didn't realize it was a leak when I first saw it. So I probably a bunch of other people didn't realize that's what it was either. So
it's a leak. Thanks to the skilled Roy for being the one who kind of reported on that. That was cool. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. There you go. We'll play this game at some point. I haven't played it. I guess I could just call up somebody who works at Riot and be like, hey, esports me in there.
Someone who works at Riot.
Somebody who works at Riot. If only I knew 20 people who work at Riot. I don't know, at least. But nah, I won't. I'll do it the legit way. James can literally walk to Riot from his house.
I definitely can. So trust me, I don't need to mail anybody at Riot. So
James gonna be at the Riot gate like, let me in.
Yeah.
It's gonna be that one meme with the fence,
Front door's right there. James.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Let me into the beta.
It's true. I literally can walk there. It'll take maybe like 30 minutes, maybe, but I can literally walk there. So.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. A little bit of community news, other than the stuff that we've already talked about, which is a lot of community news, actually. But there's a little bit more, just a couple things I wanted to bring up. One is that Desk has a super sick music video for the Dan Infinite. Have you watched it?
Yes, I have.
Dude, you should watch it, Tubbo. It is actually really cool.
I believe you.
I see you recoiling in your chair there, but it is really cool.
I mean, no, I would watch it.
No, because the thing about it is, there is a way to do Dan's Infinite without the V skill 2.
Yeah.
Right? There's a way to do it with micro walking involved,
micro
which
walk.
is just crouch fierce fireball, micro walk, crouch fierce fireball, micro watch, crouch fierce fireball, and it creates a nice little beat. Let's just put it that way. Creates a nice beat, so definitely check that out.
Please check that out. I just put it in the Twitch chat, and I'll put it on YouTube as well. All right. Other than that, the most important community news is this account that I think is so genius, and I'm jealous of whoever's doing it, which is FGC trading cards.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised you love FGC trading cards. It seems right up your alley, dude.
It absolutely is right up my alley. Yeah.
They're hideous, and I love them.
Yeah, that's the best thing about it. Yeah.
They're so ugly. It is disgusting.
As
soon as I see one, I've been retweeting every single one.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Dude, it's seriously some like MySpace GeoCities quality, edits kind of thing.
Awful.
So.
The one with the Apology Man in the giant bowl. That one cracked me up.
Tasty Steve on the trampolines.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So
and the
good.
cutout of him from that shot at Combo Breaker is horrible. There's also some green crap they just didn't even cut out. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
If you haven't checked them out, it's at CardsFGC.
There you go.
On Twitter. That's it for community news, because we already talked about a ton of it. Let's talk about some tournament results and also some upcoming stuff. So Sajam had a really big Killer Instinct tournament that was super cool. I hope people got a chance to watch. I saw a few thousand people were in the chat there, so that's awesome. It ended up being that Latalis Venator won it over It's Time to Duel, which means that it was an Aganos versus Conra Grand Finals, and it was super sick. I really, really recommend it if you're at all interested in Killer Instinct. Go and check it out. Check out the VODs. A lot of great matches even before that too, but like this is such unique characters. Like those are maximum KI characters. They're super weirdos.
Absolutely.
And really interesting decision making by the players. Sajam's talking over it, which is great as well. So check it out. The Mortal Kombat Pro Competition North America number 5 happened. I'm Big Daddy G won the East, and DJT won the West. And what was interesting about that is that
James was trying to talk. James has a thing.
Is that Sonya and Rain won it. So congratulations to players who are playing low tier, people say. What, James? What do you got?
Did you just skip? Do you see the order here on the bottom of the screen? I had the 2 KI tournaments back to back. I had the KI Insurrection Finals here.
I did not notice that, in fact. I had it written down differently on my little run show here.
The KI Insurrection Finals also happened this past week. This is the tournament that Nikki FGC has been running. So, again, the KI series, KI obviously getting a nice little resurgence here. 4 months of building up points. This was I think it was 16-man bracket here. It was 16-man, and they all played to get to the winner. The winner of this was Alex V, who, according to Nikki, is still one of the newer players of Killer Instinct that is doing well, and he's a Rash player. And second place once again was Wheels, and so Wheels unfortunately got a second place again, but it was a great tournament. It was really good. The grand finals was ridiculously sick. So again, if you want to watch some good KI, definitely watch those things. But most important to note is that the KI World Cup is still going on this year, of course, thanks to Mr. Brandon Alexander. And the winner of this tournament, I think it was the top 8 placements for this tournament, all got KI World Cup points. So there you
nice.
go. Yeah.
Also, Sajam's tournament was locked out.
What did I say?
It says locked down on the screen.
Oh. It was definitely called Lockout, yep.
I was copying the notes that David put up there, so it's not my fault.
I'm looking at the notes. It says Lockout, for sure.
Does it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Got him.
David
Also,
changed it just now. I can actually check the revision history.
I guess you can. No. So the online local had Metaview Mondays. This is, formerly RSF, Street Fighter folks. They've rebranded, and they're still running their weeklies on Mondays, as well as other stuff. Mena RD won it with Birdie, etc. And second place was a Fang player called Pollinator, who was really good. What was super cool is that they were raising money for Asian Americans Advancing Justice, and they raised $3,388. So good work to everybody involved on that. Maturino was involved in that as well. People were buying a lot of shirts on that front. In fact, they said that there were more shirts bought than they had ready to go, which is super cool.
Dang, okay.
So thanks for the support to everybody, and good job to the folks running that.
And I think that was a shirt was designed by Quasimodox as well. So shout outs to Quasimodox for doing an awesome design. Chun-Li shirt.
Yeah, that's right. As far as upcoming stuff, this weekend is WePlay's Ultimate Fighting League Season 1. These are actually offline events, so it's taking place in Kyiv in the Ukraine, and all the players flew there. COVID precautions, right? Getting tested, et cetera, which is great. And this will be taking place this weekend. So they invited 16 of just the absolute best players. And last time, some of them weren't invited / didn't decide to go, like Sonic Fox and Dragon and others. And this time they're there. So it's going to be super cool to watch actual offline top level play, as well as last time they had incredible production values. The first time they did an FGC event, and I don't know what they're planning for this one, but I would expect it to be pretty cool on that front as well. So check that out if you're interested in Mortal Kombat.
Okay. Also coming up is an event called the Deus Ex Caelo #2. This is a Soul Calibur event that Sabin Deus ran earlier. He ran Deus Ex Caelo #1 before, and it was a highly successful tournament. A lot of players signed up for it, raised a lot of money through Maturino, and on May 1st and May 2nd, he's running a second one, and so you have a chance to sign up for that. It's going to be all Parsec. Of course, himself and Arturo have done a lot of work making sure they stream the highest quality visuals and everything. Arturo's going to be streaming it on NYC Furby again, so definitely check that out. You can go to smash.gg/ I think it's DXCII off of smash.gg, and you should be able to sign up for that tournament there. And so cool. That should be fun.
Cool. All right. That's all I got for upcoming.
Well, apparently, according to Jason Game Dev, Tongue Never Sleeps season finals is also this weekend. So there you go.
Oh, dope. Didn't even
Tampa never sleeps.
Tampa never sleeps, sorry. Yeah.
Tennessee never sucks.
All right, let's get to the mailbag. The last thing we got going on here.
Oh,
Again, we got quite a few of them because we didn't do them last time.
Casper questions.
We got one Casper
right.
question, but we're not going to start with that. We're going to start with Jiggly Purin, who asks, what's your favorite normal attack of all time?
Ooh.
The correct answer is Hugo Butt, Crouching Roundhouse. Second place, Hugo Crouching Fierce, the Dolphinator.
Amazon River Run, for sure.
Really? Blanca Slide?
Absolutely.
Why are you so
good.
into that? It's not funny?
It's so
it's not...
good.
Oh, okay.
It's so good. It's my favorite button of all time.
Okay.
So,
Was that good in Street Fighter 4? I have no memory of that
It's
game.
really good in Street Fighter 4, yeah.
Okay.
It's a weird one. For me, I mean, I guess if considering I wanted a statue made of this move, I would probably have to say OG XX Johnny 6H. I just think it's just a sick looking move. The posing on it, the reach of it, and just how he does the animation. He swings down like this, and the back arm is up with the pinky ups and everything like that. It's a really cool looking move. I've always just wanted a Johnny figure of that move because it was always just such a sick move. So that would be my initial response, but I'd have to think about it if there is something that I enjoy more than that.
I think what I should really say is like almost all of the buttons in Darkstalkers.
And it's not that move. It's not that move that Cone put up, because that's why I said OG XX Johnny, because
he got you, Cone.
Yeah, they changed his 6H in Exerd to a different animation. So in XX he has a different 6H.
Got you. Bam.
Yeah, take that.
But yeah, seriously, a lot of stuff in Darkstalkers is great looking.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. I mean, freaking BB Hood's entire move set can be put in there, so
100%. Street Fighter 5 Cody knife crouching HP. Okay.
I mean, yeah. I don't think anything in Street Fighter 5 is my favorite animation.
I do really like Zangief's Stand Fierce Charge, where he like shakes a lot in his fist. That one's actually pretty cool looking. But all right.
Yeah.
I think some of the later characters in later seasons when they added flourishes are really cool. But all right, we move on. Drem at Poogly Woogly. Oh wait, no. Before that, Jared Zerbe says, "Would you want the random damage from Street Fighter 2 to return in a future title, or do you prefer the modern fixed damage system?"
No, never. Why?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why would I want to? No, that's random wins.
Not.
Random wins. No thanks.
No thanks.
I don't think it ever really truly made that big of a difference. So
yeah, it didn't.
I don't think it would be bad to put back, and definitely added a lot of whoa situations, which is actually kind of neat. I appreciate the fact that people want it to be more scientific and exact, and so no random factor is involved. So I do would prefer it that way. But like I said, I don't see it as a bad thing. Not like this. Oh, whoa, we kicked. What? Like that. I think I think it added a lot of fun to certain fighting games. But yeah, it's probably better in a competitive environment not to have it. If we were still just a bunch of people playing on arcades for quarters, it's fine. But in a competitive environment, it is not acceptable.
Yeah, if you don't know, in Super Turbo, well, in Street Fighter 2, moves have random damage within set boundaries. So, like, a move can't do 100% damage. Like, there's a boundary. But, yeah, you don't necessarily know. Dude, I don't know. That's how it is.
I've lost that way in Street Fighter 2 games so many times, but I've also won so many games because of that. So it just doesn't make you salty because it comes back around. It really does. It balances out. I still remember one match I killed someone with 92 seconds left on the clock with Honda in Street Fighter 2. They had like a fourth of their life left, and I hit him with Stand Roundhouse. The close-up two-hitting one, and the second one didn't even hit. The first hit just killed him, and he died. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that game had some real weird choices, though.
Yeah.
Like extra damage out of Wonka Ball, etc.
Right.
All right. As
I'm good on that.
Turn into a corn cob.
I'm good on that.
Oh no.
Drem at Poogly Woogly says, "What are your go-to foods to eat while playing fighting games? What do you value more? Cleanliness so you don't get your controller dirty, or speed so you can grab a bite while getting comboed, or something else?"
Believe it or not, my fat ass does not eat food when I play video games. I don't like getting food on my controllers.
Huh?
Also, I don't like make it a habit to wash my arcade stick that often. So I don't want my germy, dirty, grimy ass arcade stick. Like, I wipe it down, but I probably spray it down like once a month at most, right?
Do you really?
Yeah. So I don't.
I've never done that.
Oh man, I absolutely do. Yeah, I like having a clean controller. Like, I'm that guy who like takes a toothpick and cleans out the crevices of his controller. Like, it's disgusting to me. I don't like using other people's controllers, so I don't eat. I don't generally eat when I play video games. I will. Maybe if it's like a thing I can control with just my mouse. So I might play like a card game, like Slay the Spire or something while I eat.
Right.
But that's like the extent. Usually I would much rather just watch something like Twitch or Netflix or whatever while I eat.
I do clean out my sticks sometimes. So like I'll clean the buttons occasionally, the functional parts of them. But as far as like the top, I don't think I've ever sprayed any of them down.
Where are they at? Yeah,
for food, I mean, yeah, I don't really eat snacks super often, so I'm not a big snacker.
I mean, I snack.
Ugh, Clorox. So like I'll eat if I'm eating dinner and I'm playing a game, then I'll sneak a bite between rounds or games or something. But usually I don't play while I'm eating dinner. So
I'm looking at all these joysticks around me, and now I'm thinking I need to clean wipe them because I feel like such a gross human being at this point. Because I definitely do not clean my joysticks. Oh man.
I do. Yeah, I make it a point.
And same when I'm playing fighting games, I usually am not hungry when I'm playing fighting games because my brain doesn't think about food. I'm so focused on playing. Like, I mean, when I play fighting games on stream, like, people have seen it. Like, I'll play Street Fighter 5 for, like, 6-7 hours straight. And I don't even go to the bathroom. Like, I just get, like, stuck, like, in this mode where I just don't leave. Like, I'm just, like, fused into the joystick and the table and everything like that. Once I'm in that mode, I get stuck in there for better or for worse. Probably mostly worse than better.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just, like... The only time I ever snack is during the streams that I do because I lose and I have to get off the machine and now I have to wait for my turn again so I have time to chomp on some chips or something, but then I know I can wash my hands and stuff. But otherwise I usually don't eat while I'm playing fighting games.
Yeah, Gibby, I would say the inside of my sticks are definitely cleaner than the outside of my sticks because I do open them up and clean out the important stuff now and then, but the outside, I don't know, whatever.
Oh, never borrow one of David's sticks.
Whatever.
Well, David also famously said that, you know, he even asked, come on, guys, you have to admit, you don't actually wash your hands after you use the restroom, right? So I'm definitely
How
not...
dare you bring up my private Facebook post?
I will never, ever use David's joysticks ever, so, you know.
David, you're one of those guys that didn't wash his hands until COVID, huh? Like, you just learned. You just now picked up that habit in the year 2020. Oh, no. I've been shaking your hand for like 11 years. Oh, no.
You wonder
what
why
have I done to myself?
You wonder why I hug everybody and shake everybody's hand except for David? No, I was kidding.
I just assume because you see him all the time, but now I know the real reason.
Oh, man.
I make sure that I wash my hands quite well when I come home, just to make sure that there's no chance of transmission to the kitty cats. That's actually the only reason. If I didn't have cats...
Get me? Whatever. She can get it. My cats, though? No way, man.
I mean, she's a strong, independent woman. She takes care of herself.
I love you. Will you wash your hands? I'll do it for the cats.
Yeah, I'll do it for the cats.
I mean, like, when at my last job, I'd be sitting at the desk, and, like, I'd have to have gone, like, I feel like I probably had to pee for, like, maybe an hour and a half while I'm coding all, like, into it and everything, but I just won't get up. But every once in a while, I'll just feel like, dang, my hands are dirty. And that will actually get me to get up and go to the bathroom more so than having to pee. It's weird.
Well, I don't share that.
I have a strong bladder, I think, despite drinking so much dang caffeine, so...
I have exactly the opposite. I don't have a strong bladder, and my hands are washed sometimes.
Carter, I don't think David wants that.
What?
This is a two-party thing, bud.
Wow. Well, you know what? We'll see how much money's involved. Ryan Kasmer asked, who would win in a knife fight?
Here we go.
Who would win in a knife fight? Mario or Luigi Mario?
That's way too normal for a Kasmer question.
You know what's funny is after I copied this down, he deleted the tweet, which I believe means that he too thinks that it's not actually up to his standards.
That is true, yeah.
But I kept it on here because screw Kasmer.
Because you saw it and it's too late.
I saw your tweet, asshole.
Yep, I already saw it, buddy. It's too late.
He probably tweeted it when he was drunk and it was like funnier in his mind. And then he like saw the tweet again and was like, what the hell? And then he just deleted it, so.
Well, the answer is Luigi Mario because Luigi Mario has much longer range
100%.
than
100%
Mario.
the answer. Yep.
And he can jump higher. So
He can jump higher.
why is
he's no
Mario
longer
the hero
reach.
anyway? It should be Luigi.
Well, that's why Luigi gave him the death stare, man. I mean, that's just all
That's
it is.
true, yeah.
So, I mean, honestly,
Yeah, skinnier hitbox, that's true. Or hurtbox, he's not going to be able to hit him as easily. Mario's got quite a target on him. Yeah.
no,
It's definitely Luigi.
definitely Luigi. Also, because Luigi is by far the superior brother and much cooler than Mario ever has been. So
Mean
that's
Salt
why.
Teen in the chat says that Mario has too much power. He said
Who cares about power if you can't connect?
It's a knife fight too. You don't need much power. A little
True.
stab, you're doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, you don't need almost any power, actually.
If it was a fist fight, I'd probably give it to Mario.
I can see that.
But it's a knife fight, so I got to give it to the guy with range. Because even if you get inside, it doesn't matter. Then you're just getting stabbed on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely just a grappler's mindset that Mario has power, so he's going to win. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, seriously. The grappler player showing his true spirit.
See, this is why you have to also play zoners to be a fully rounded out person.
See, now I'm really am upset that we didn't get the question about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man merged with the Michelin Man, and whatever the hell else. I said
Whatever you
last
said.
time.
Everyone's
yeah.
upset too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wishes he had thought of it, I bet.
Exactly.
John H. asks, what's your favorite TV show?
Just, that's it. That's what's our favorite.
Well, there's more
follow-up?
to it.
No, there are 2 follow-ups, but what's
okay.
your favorite TV show?
Of all time ever?
I mean, it's a short sentence, buddy. However you want to take it's up to you.
I guess, like, Breaking Bad was incredible. There's other shows I can name too, but I'll go with Breaking Bad for the sake of this.
The only television show that has come out and that I've watched all of in this millennium is WandaVision. So I
that's
think
your pick.
that's my pick.
Didn't you watch all of The Boys?
No, I never watched the last couple episodes.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was really,
Sponsored to watch it.
okay, I watched season 1, but then there was a season 2 and I didn't finish that.
Oh.
It was good. I just didn't want to sit there anymore. That's all. I don't know.
Twin Peaks is a good answer. I like that, Infected Jazz. Actually, that's a good answer. For me, I mean, like, the best TV show I've seen in recent memory was, like, The Good Place.
Oh, that was good.
Good
I
Place
watched
is
some
good.
of that. Yeah,
I really enjoyed the very first season of Jessica Jones. I really loved that season. I would probably include Avatar and Legend of Korra in there because I really loved those series as well.
I mean, if we're just naming all the shows we love, I could.
Yeah, come
Yeah,
on, man.
yes, that's true.
Boil it down.
I had to pick one. You got to pick one.
Phew, I don't know. I couldn't answer this question right now at this point because there's just too much nostalgia fighting against higher quality because like obviously a show like that I grew up on, like Bewitched, is like not a great show by today's standards, but
What about Transformers?
the Transformers cartoon has too many terrible episodes. Like there's
What about
just
Beast Wars?
I hated Beast Wars. I never watched Beast Wars.
That's why I asked, man. Yes.
You hate Beast Wars.
Actually,
Dinobot terrorize.
It's so good.
Batman the Animated Series is good. The Justice League is good.
Yeah.
All right, what's the second part to this question?
Yeah, I don't
we're
know.
moving on
I don't
here.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. John H. also asks, what's your favorite color?
Red.
Blue.
There we
What's
go.
your favorite
No,
cereal?
it's actually blue. I mean red. Ah! Anyways, yeah.
Red's the best. What's your favorite cereal? John H.
Count
also
Chocula.
asks.
Do you say Count
Count
Chocula?
Yeah.
What a bizarre answer.
It's the best, dude.
What a weird answer. I've never heard anybody. I've heard this question so many times. Nobody's ever answered Count Chocula.
Count Chocula, it's the best.
I think Cone is
What
actually.
about Count Chocula does it for you?
Well, it's Cocoa Pebbles, or Cocoa
Yeah.
Puffs, sorry,
Mhm.
with marshmallows. Come on. And then the chalky milk, you get bonus chalky milk after. How can it not be the best?
Do you call it chalky milk?
Yeah.
Are you talking about chocolate milk?
Yes. Good old
What a
chocolate
weird night. All right, James, what's your
Lucky
answer?
Charms. Lucky Charms. So it was my favorite growing up, and it's still something I even eat every once in a while. So,
chalky milk.
What's your favorite?
My answer is oatmeal.
That's not a cereal.
It's not a cereal.
It's very literally a cereal.
Oh my god, this cop out.
That's not a cop out. I still eat.
It's technically a hot cereal. You know what, man?
It's a cereal. What do you mean?
You know, in America, when people ask you what's your favorite cereal, they mean goddamn cold milk in a bowl with some sugar in it. Okay, you don't put it in the microwave.
Soup's not a meal.
I make great oatmeal, and I don't put it in the microwave. All right, fine. In that case,
pick something.
Let's go with Kicks.
Kicks.
Yeah.
You call my pick bizarre, and you pick the most plain thing.
Go with Kicks.
Do you put water in it too? Is that
what? Don't be gross.
Well, you pick Kicks. You tell me not to be gross. You pick Kicks. This guy.
Oh boy. All right. J.W. Park asks quite a long question, so stick with me on this. If all three of you were held at gunpoint, whose ability would you rely on to get out of that situation? Number 1, David's memory. David must retell a moment in his life in accurate detail that is chosen for him at random.
Oh, crap.
Or, number 2, James's anti-air ability. James must perform 5 consecutive anti-airs in a real high-level match against a random pro as a 5-player. He cannot miss a single jump in.
No.
Side note, no one can help each other. Which one of these two do you pick?
Where's Tubo's? No. Where's Tubo's entry?
There's no Tubo entry.
I didn't get one. Hold that shit.
Yeah. It's just making fun of my awful memory, which is true, which is absolutely correct, and also of James not anti-airing, which is also true.
See, now here's the interesting thing. If you put me into Super Turbo or Hyper Fighting and give me Zangief, I will pull this off. Because that is just Lariat. And that is easy to do. And I can do it with Lariat. For some reason, I can do it with Lariat. But if it's Street Fighter 5 and I need to anti-air with like Cammy back medium punch, I'm dead. Guaranteed.
I'm upset that I don't have one, and I got dragged into the situation.
Well, that's
why am I part of this and I don't have one?
Because now you have to choose. You have to choose. You're the chooser.
You're the arbiter here.
I am 100% putting our life in the hands of James, because I've gone over 6, 7, 8 memories that David and I experienced together, things we've done as friends that he has no recollection of. It's incredible that we're even friends, because how does he even... I could just walk up to him tomorrow and be like, hey, we've been friends for 30 years. And he'd be like, sounds about right. I don't remember any better. We're best friends now. Like, every day. It's like 50 first dates with this guy. Like, he doesn't remember anything.
You know what? It's so accurate that when somebody does say, hey, David, remember the time that X or Y happened? I always just say yeah. Because I always don't. I never do. And I don't want to go through the conversation of like, you don't remember that? And I have to be like, no. And they have to. Then they're like, why? And I don't know. And then they're like, okay, well, here's what happened. You're just asking me the question because you want to have a punchline. Just tell your joke and let's get on with our life.
Dude, I've taken advantage of this. There was one episode I remember we were doing the Tuesday show, and we were talking about something. And we got into the topic of, bungee jumping. And I literally looked at David. I was like, yeah, there was the one time we went bungee jumping at that one event. And it was pretty fun. And David was, like, seriously confused and, like, lost. It was like, oh, my God, did we really bungee jump?
Yeah, I don't know. But that totally sounds like something I would do. Like, the way that I judge whether to believe something like that is, like, would I do that? Like, would I go bungee jumping? Yeah, I would. So, am I sure that I haven't gone bungee jumping? No, I'm not sure. And then if James is like, it happened, then I believe him. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's happened so many different times in so many situations, yeah. I have a great memory for some stuff. If you want a fact, if you'd like to know where something is in the world geographically speaking, if you want to know a little bit about the law, ask some frame data. I got all this sorts of useless nonsense upstairs, but the actual things that I've experienced in life are just kind of like feelings to me and not real memories in the way that other people experience it.
Oh man!
You know, I'm a feeling in your life, David.
I write stuff down a lot, and this is the reason why.
We found your fan fiction, so I believe that. I believe you write things down a lot, bud. Oh, maybe something you don't want people to see ever.
Again, next week. We're definitely scheduling time for me to read some of that. So I think
you should just read it over your Samurai Showdown session, James.
No, we're reading it on the Tuesday show, and I'm doing it as seriously and as non-ironic as possible. Like, this has to happen.
It might be good. I don't know. I don't really remember. It might be bad too, though.
I'm gonna cry laughing. If it's good or bad, I'm gonna laugh. It doesn't matter.
Where's Macedonia? I know where it is in the Balkans. Are you serious? Some people think it's pronounced Macedonia, but they prefer Macedonia. Although there is actually quite a debate about that. There's some international issues related to that. I have a great memory from some stuff, but not for a lot. Okay. Echo CD asks, how hard would it be to create a line of physical FGC trading cards? Players only, no video game licensed images, proper personal image rights, data gathering, original art, etc. How hard would it be? I mean, probably not that tough. You just have to ask people if they're cool with it, and everybody's gonna say yeah, probably.
All you have to do is get the Hado interested, and it'll happen.
Here's the thing, though: is it worth the effort? And the answer is no. Not enough people are gonna buy cards like in blister packs. Like, that's how card companies make money, right? You put these cards in blister packs and people open them hoping to get the cards that they want. Nobody's gonna open those packs, man. This isn't good. It would have to be like a special thing and like a certain amount of cards and certain people on there. I really don't think enough people would purchase these blister packs to make it worthwhile.
What if it came with a free
bubble gum
pack of gum? A free stick of gum.
That would probably cause more problems because then you'd have to get like approval for food distribution.
It probably would, yeah. Actually.
Oh god,
that probably would make it harder.
Yeah, make it way harder. So I think it would be cool. I like to be on a card one day, but honestly, I don't think it's worth it.
Walter Day, I am actually on one of Walter Day's cards. He's done cards for people. And he did a lot for the Tetris community, and so I think I'm on one of the cards or something. But he's done cards for a bunch of people. In fact, I think I have like a Harry Hong card somewhere in my house.
I am furiously Googling right now.
For what?
For the James Chen card.
The James Chen card, of course.
Oh. Don't worry, at Cards FGC will make a James Chen
I think there
card.
was some.
I hope they do.
I think there's information on there that wasn't correct too on the Walter Day card, but I don't know if he actually ever published it.
Oh, okay. Well, that could be an issue then.
Yeah.
I just Googled the exact same phrase that James Googled.
Oh.
It's verbatim.
Okay. I'll see.
Well, that's all for mailbags.
Oh, that was it.
Okay.
Thought it was going to be more than that because
he did it.
It's definitely the right answer to pick James for sure. I would do the same.
I mean, the thing about it is, I would then just be able to allow myself to get hit by every dash, walk into every fireball, get hit by every normal, just to focus on one thing, right? So
that makes sense, yeah.
Because they didn't say I had to win the match. I just have to anti-air 5 times. So
we definitely are going with James here.
Yeah. Then, I mean, technically, then the guy could stalemate us, right? Because then they would just never jump, and then nothing would ever happen.
And we're just not dying for all that time, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah, it's probably
true. Yeah. Also, like a random fighting game pro, if they knew what the stakes are, which is what you're implying in that, then they would just probably hold up forward and let you anti-air them 5 times. They're not trying to see you die.
I don't know. Depends on which part of the FGC you're talking about.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we did it.
That's
the
it.
Show. That's
Congratulations,
Tuesday show.
Everybody. That has been the Tuesday. For us, it's still Tuesday.
and there's a guy, and he's named Ultra, and there's a guy named Chen, and
it
they're
goes,
like, hey, let's do a show together for 10 years, 20 years,
probably
30 years together, fighting games. All right, bye guys.
Bye everybody. Yeah, we'll keep doing the show until we have to move to the Saskatchewan climate refugee camp in 2050.
And then we have to move to Macedonia.